So therefore, as of now, we are working under this system, which is the collegium system. If there be any areas, any wrinkles which need to be ironed, the court will certainly consider as and when the occasion comes up.
पीयूष जी, सवाल ये है कि जद्दोजहद हमारे देश में भी है। जब हम ब्राइट स्पॉट की बात करते हैं तो क्या हम कुछ असलियतों से दूर भाग रहे हैं? क्योंकि आज जो आम आदमी है उसकी जद्दोजहद है एक नौकरी की, पढ़ाई की, रोजमर्रा की जिंदगी की। इन्फ्लेशन रेट जिस तरह बढ़ता जा रहा है और जिस तरह नौकरियों की आज भी किल्लत है, जितने लोग जॉब मार्केट में आते हैं एजुकेशन के बाद और उनके हिसाब से जितनी नौकरियां निकलती हैं, क्या आप भारत की रियलिटी से थोड़े से दूर हैं?
मैं मानता हूं कि भारत की रियलिटी ये है कि जब दुनिया में लगभग 1-2% महंगाई होती थी विकसित देशों में, उधर जब आज 8%, 9%, किधर 11% महंगाई है तो हाहाकार मचा हुआ है। भारत में जहां साधारणतः आज से 10 साल पहले, 12 साल पहले डबल डिजिट में महंगाई होती थी, 10-12% महंगाई तो बड़ी आम मानी जाती थी भारत में। क्योंकि प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी ने 14 के बाद बहुत कठोर कदम उठाए, रिजर्व बैंक ऑफ इंडिया को भी मैंडेट किया कि उनको महंगाई रोकने की उनकी प्राथमिकता रहेगी। अलग अलग तरीके से महंगाई के ऊपर लगाम लगाया। उसके कारण गत 8-8.5 वर्षों की महंगाई की दर लगभग 4.5% आ गई है। आज के दिन भी अगर आप देखें तो पिछले महीने से इस महीने महंगाई घटी है, 7.4 से घट के 6.8 हो गई है अक्टूबर में। मेरा मानना है कि जिस देश में डबल डिजिट महंगाई बड़ी साधारण मानी जाती थी, वहां आज लगभग आधे पे आ गई है उससे महंगाई, तो लोग उसको अप्रिशिएट करते हैं, रिकग्नाइज करते हैं। लोगों के ध्यान में है कि अंतर्राष्ट्रीय परिस्थितियां कितनी तकलीफ वाली हैं, चाहे वो कोविड की महामारी से अभी अभी उभरा हो विश्व, या यूक्रेन रशिया का युद्ध हो, और लगभग जिस प्रकार से ग्लोबल फिस्कल टाइटनिंग चल रही है, खासतौर पे अमेरिका और बाकी देशों में जिस प्रकार से ब्याज के दर बढ़ रहे हैं, जिस प्रकार से वहां महंगाई चल रही है, उसके निस्बत देखें तो मुझे लगता है भारत ने फिर भी काफी संतुलित रखा है अपनी महंगाई की पिक्चर या ब्याज की पिक्चर। रही बात नौकरियों की, आज भी भारत में या तो जॉब क्रिएटर्स के रूप में हमारे स्टार्टअप्स बहुत बढ़िया काम कर रहे हैं। आप ईपीएफओ का डेटा देख लो, पिछले कुछ महीनों का लगातार जॉब्स ग्रो कर रही हैं, ईपीएफओ डेटा में साफ नजर आता है। और भारत में जिस प्रकार से इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर स्पेंडिंग पे सरकार भी बल दे रही है, प्राइवेट सेक्टर भी बल दे रहा है, मुझे लगता है कि देश भर में अलग अलग नौकरी के अवसर हैं। अब आप उसको सिर्फ सरकारी नौकरी के प्रिज्म से देखोगे तो अलग बात है, उसकी अपनी सीमाएं हैं। उसमें भी भारत सरकार बहुत तेज वृद्धि कर रही है। अभी अभी रोजगार मेला हुआ 2 दिन पहले, उसके पिछले महीने भी हुआ था। लगभग 15 लाख सरकारी नौकरियां भी आगे आने वाले 12 महीनों में लोगों को उपलब्ध होगी। लेकिन आज का जो युवा है, पढ़ लिख के वो अपने नए रास्ते खोजता है, नई तरीके से अपनी जिंदगी बनाने के लिए निकल रहा है।
कहीं जो हमारे बीजेपी आरएसएस वालों के दबाव में आके अब उनके कंट्री के एक निष्पक्ष एक फिल्म मेकर है, अब उसके खिलाफ अपोलॉजी कर रहे हैं।
कश्मीरी फाइल जो है निहायत ही बेहुदा, वाहियात और इरेशनल मूवी। जैसे जर्मनी की नाजी जर्मनी में के ज़माने में एक प्रोपेगेंडा मंत्रालय हुआ करता था जो हिटलर के बारे में प्रोपेगेंडा करते थे, ये उसी तरह का भारत में एक नया चलन है जिसका पार्ट है कश्मीरी फाइल फिल्म। प्रोपेगेंडा फिल्में अलग होती हैं, फैक्ट एंड फिगर अलग होता है। सो फिल्म मेकर नदाव का हम लोग समर्थन करेंगे।
It's a one-sided version to demonize a community, says the ecosystem. Let's quickly open this up. Sunanda Vashish, columnist, political commentator. Major General G.D. Bakshi needs no introduction. Sanjay Jha, Tehseen Poonawala. Kishore Tiwari, leader of the Shiv Sena. Majid Haidari, political analyst. Sushil Pandit will be joining us shortly. Sunanda Vashisht, I want to ask you a direct question. We were told that truth is bitter. Nadav Lapid, he is saying truth is vulgar. The genocide truth of Kashmiri Hindus is vulgar.
I just want to make 4 points. Thank you for having me today. I just want to make 4 points, 4 quick important points that we really need to understand. First point, why was Nadav Lapid invited and made head of the jury when it is publicly known that he is a leftist filmmaker who masquerades as a liberal, and we all know the global collaboration of left and Islamists worldwide. So somebody in the INB ministry dropped the ball in vetting this person. He should not have been invited, number one. Number two, even when he was invited, nowhere in the world do the film juries, do the heads of film juries single out a film like this for humiliation? Why was this done? You don't like a film, you ignore it. There is a process followed in every film festival. I have been to film festivals. I know how they work. There is a process filled. You don't like a film, you vote for it. Every film festival has its own system. You don't like it, you vote it down or you vote it up or whatever happens inside. No one in a public platform or a closing ceremony singles out a film and uses the words like ugly and propaganda and misfit, because those are politically loaded terms. Those are not your ordinary words. Those are not the words with which you would denounce a film if you didn't like the style or the filmmaking. So number two. Number three, look at the people inside us, inside our country, who jumped in to agree with him even before his comment had finished. They mocked, belittled, and denied the Kashmiri Pandit genocide. Who are these people? Identify them. And once you have identified them, then number four, this is what you need to do. In order to prevent this from happening again and again, we must have a genocide law. We ourselves must recognize Kashmiri Pandit genocide. India is a contracting party to the United Nations Convention on Prevention and Punishment of Crime of Genocide 1948. It has been obligatory on the part of Union of India to enact a law in India. You have ratified the convention in 1959, but so far there is no law that
recognize the genocide, present the bill in parliament, the details of it are public already, and recognize it so that the ecosystem does not get emboldened like what happened with Nadav Lapid. Sushil Pandit,
we can keep just 30 seconds. We can keep outraging about this. This is one news cycle for 24 hours. But what is going to happen beyond it? These humiliations will keep happening unless you recognize Kashmiri Pandit genocide and you bring in a law.
Sushil Pandit, justice delayed, now cause denied to Hindus. Is the betrayal by the system the reason why the ecosystem is emboldened? Direct question.
Well, I'm not surprised the so-called ecosystem is emboldened, because there is a very tacit kind of agreement with the system itself and the ecosystem. There hasn't been any change in policy with regard to the events that took place 32 years ago. There is no admission of the fact that there was a genocide. There is no justice to the victims, not even in an exception. Any murder, any massacre, any rape, any abduction, any burning of temples or homes, none has been punished because nobody has been found guilty till date, because no cases are progressing. Even the murder of Air Force officers, Squad Leader Ravi Khanna, is dragging in a Tada court with no progress whatsoever. And this is 32 years. 3, not a dime of compensation to anyone for the lives lost or the properties lost. Can you believe in road accidents, in natural calamities, people rush with ex gratia? Here an entire community was expelled with murder and mayhem. Not a dime of compensation to anyone. And on top of it, the humiliation of being called a migrant. Now this takes the cake. Migrants are those who move out of their own volition, out of their own free will. So there is a denial of genocide, not as of now from a certain Israeli who came here to head the jury. There is a denial of genocide within, and government after government, party after party, coalition after coalition, prime minister after prime minister. So if this is what we do to a tragedy at home, can we expect any better?
And the genocide
from people
victims,
at large?
I understand your sentiment completely, and I said all of this when I began the show. The genocide victims, General Bakshi, have been called migrants not once, multiple times. The MHA has said this in Parliament. And now you have the likes of Nadav Lapid saying that the film on Kashmir, the film on genocide, Kashmir Files, is vulgar propaganda. General Saab?
Look, may I remind people that in the former Yugoslavia, Slobodan Milosevic, Prime Minister then of that country, and others were tried for the crime of ethnic cleansing, of genocide, and sent by an international tribunal, right? And sent to jail, jailed almost for life, right? We have the same crime here. And I am a little shocked. A gentleman from the state of Israel who knows what the Holocaust is all about, who's seen the Schindler's List, and I'm sure he must have quite rightly praised the sensitivity of that film and its portrayal of the ugly truth. How do you distinguish? On what basis do you distinguish? What is this new form of hypocrisy? That if one particular set of people are massacred, are killed, are driven out, it's par for the course. It's perfectly all right. They hardly have a right to live. My dear friend Sushil Pandit and this lady, they have no right to live. If they are exterminated, what are they? Are they cockroaches? Are they cockroaches? I mean, and coming from a land where the people have seen the destruction of their country, driven out all over the world, the diaspora, and they came back to their original homeland only in the last century. And somebody from there to be sold out to some leftist, liberal, economic, Islamist cause, and now we find the strange bedfellows to utter such nonsense, to be so insensitive. He should have confined himself to adjudication of which is better, which is worse, and that's it. Nobody entitled him to pass sweeping comments on an issue which is so deeply emotive. 5 lakh Kashmiri Pandits are still out of their hearth and homes. Out of their hearth and homes.
And General
rotting
Saab,
in refugee camps.
it's not just Nadav Lapid.
Supposed to be refugees.
General Saab, it is not just Nadav Lapid, it is also the ecosystem in India. Tehseen Poonawala has his hand up.
State of Israel.
Can you answer what General Bakshi is asking?
That the state representatives of Israel have hit back strongly, have distanced themselves from this ridiculous narrative of hypocrisy.
Absolutely.
In the extreme.
The Israeli ambassador has said that I apologize to India and Indians.
I was in Kashmir. I am from Jammu.
Tehseen,
I have seen this happening with my own eyes.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me on the show. And at the onset, I would like to thank General Bakshi for his services. And a lot of things that have been said on this show, I actually tend to agree with them. A, there is no doubt in my mind that our Kashmiri Pandit fellow citizens have gone through a genocide. And it is shameful. दूसरों से क्या बैर जब अपने घर के लोग इस वर्तमान सरकार के गृह मंत्रालय कहते कि माइग्रेंट्स है. What do you expect from others? अपनी सरकार से पूछे ना, दूसरों से क्या. First, they are not migrants. They are people who've gone through terrible times. The Honorable Home Minister, present Home Minister, I often see on your show, has the spine of a molten eclair. How many times has he met my Pandit fellow citizens? Never. What has the Honorable Prime Minister done except for Chunavi rally? What is the concrete steps to settle them back? Nothing. We are talking about a filmmaker, not representing Israel. And I don't speak either for Israel or for this filmmaker, who, by the way, is not an Islamist, he's a Jew.
No, but Tehseen, you're mistaken again. This is not just about Vivek Agnihotri and his film Kashmir Files,
Tehseen.
Tehseen.
It's a very sensitive topic. I cannot speak if I'm...
No, Tehseen, no, you must get no, you are not getting what I'm trying to ask you. This is not just about Vivek Agnihotri and his film Kashmir Files.
I don't...
This is about
I'm
justice
Vivek,
to the community. And like Sushil Pandit said, like Sunanda Vashisht said, successive governments have let them down.
Yes, they have.
Many in
And
the
Sunanda
Congress
is right.
have called the film propaganda, Tehseen.
Okay, 1 second. See, Pranesh, if you keep interrupting, what will happen is it gets lost in translation and trolls come after you. So just let me make. I agree with what Sunanda said. Sunanda was very brave at the US congressional hearing. She stood up for India. Pakistan's role was not acknowledged. Forget Congress, forget BJP. The Indian government, whether Congress or BJP, has not stood by Pandit fellow citizens. Since 1991 till today, out of 14 years, it's been out of the time gone, 14 years has been a BJP government. किसी से क्या देर? दोनों सरकारें ने अपने पंडित भाइयों को, they've let them down. What government? And even today, how many times has Amit Shah met our Pandit fellow citizens? That's not the issue. Neither am I talking about Vivek Agnihotri and his movie Kashmir Files. You may like it, you may dislike it, that is your choice. Freedom of art, some may think it's propaganda. I'm not getting into that issue. My pain is the pain of my fellow citizens.
And that pain has been dubbed as propaganda, Tehseen.
Now, let's come
that
to what
pain
the
has been
filmmaker
dubbed
said.
as propaganda. Kishore Tiwari, Shiv Sena is also calling it vulgar propaganda. You are echoing what Nadav Lapid has said.
I am with Sushil Pandit and Thunanda and General Bakshi. We are not in line with any remark our Sanjay Raut has made. In line with Lapid, but we have been demanding their.
I think you have to unmute yourself, sir. You've muted your line. Kishore Tiwari ji, आपकी line mute हो गई है. All right, we are having some issues. We'll try and fix that. But Sanjay Jha, is the genocide truth vulgar propaganda?
Pranesh, two short points. I mean, ever since I read about it, I have two brief observations. I don't know why is everyone on your panel talking about the Israeli gentleman, Mr. Lapid. There is also an American director. There is also a French director. There is also an Indian film creative artist by the name of Sudipto Sen. So this is the entire jury's view. Since he was the head of the jury, he said it. But there were 5 members of the jury who felt the way about the film. But the second point is really the one that I need to tell on your show, because your viewers need to distinguish between the wheat and the chaff. At no point in the observations made by Nadav Lapid has he discounted what happened in Kashmir. I think, we are mixing the real with the real. The Kashmir exodus is a reality. We all know it was a terrible tragedy and one where there is still a reconciliation yet to happen. And now we are not looking and discussing that. At no point has he said that is not a truth. So I really don't understand.
Okay,
why
then what did he mean? What did he mean?
Pranesh, let me finish. Pranesh, let me finish. So I think there is an attempt being made here by a right-wing ecosystem that appears very rattled to conflate about views of a jury which comments
but
on
Sanjay
the
Jha, how is this about left-wing, right-wing?
They are not talking about the reality.
This is about justice for Kashmiri Hindus. This is not some left-wing, right-wing. Sunanda Vashisht. Sunanda Vashisht wants to come in. Yes.
Let me answer you. Let me answer you. Can you play the entire statement made by Mr. Lapid? He's talking about the film. Now let me tell you. He says that the entire jury was shocked, disturbed, and the words are propaganda, vulgarity, etc., etc. Now that is a comment on the artistic merit of the film.
Artistic merit, you
I
see.
haven't even seen the film, so I'm not even commenting on the film.
Sunanda
And I don't want
Vashisht.
to comment on its authenticity, etc.
Yes.
The larger point is an attempt being made to conflate.
Okay, let
whatever
Sunanda
is
Vashisht
being
come in now.
in
Yes.
Film
Okay.
with the reality. Why are people trying to do that? I mean, that is where I feel commerce is meeting politics.
Sanjay, jury has every right to talk about the artistic merit of the film. However, when you talk about artistic merit of the film, you do not use the word ugly and propaganda. Those are politically loaded terms.
Well,
You will
didn't
also-
Prime Minister Narendra Modi launch the film? 1 minute. I thought the Prime Minister of India was endorsing the film. It was political. Of course it was. And
How was
he
it
used terms
political?
like the
How was
ecosystem
it-
is rattled.
if-
I'm using his
if
words.
Prime Minister-
I'm using
if
Mr.
Prime
Modi's words. I'm using
Why?
to you what the
If
Prime
political
Minister said.
propaganda made by
And is the Prime
Sanjay,
Minister talking about
you-
the creative
It was
story? I don't
political
know.
propaganda.
Sanjay,
I think the
listen to me,
Prime Minister
Sanjay.
is a political creature and he made a
Sanjay.
political statement.
Sanjay, listen to me. If you support my struggle, if you support my
I
story,
can't, you know,
are you-
Pranesh, I have a problem with the audio on your program today. I
Of course
can't
you have
hear
a
what
audio, a
Sita is
problem with the
saying. I
audio
can't hear
now.
it
Of
at all.
course you have the problem with the audio. But here is the question. If anybody supports my struggle to go back home or talks about my struggle, is this a political comment? How is this a political comment? If the
Well,
Prime
we are
Minister
talking about the political mileage taken by the BJP.
No,
We are
how?
talking
How?
about the political mileage taken
How?
by the BJP
Explain
without
to
doing
me
anything
how.
for the rehabilitation of the Kashmir. They don't
This is not-
have a right to get it in
Bill-
cash.
Listen to me, sir. The film is about what happened to the Kashmiri Pandits in 1989, 90, and what continues to happen with them. The continual genocide which people like you are denying. If somebody accepts this and if somebody...
Nobody is denying the genocide.
Yes,
We
you
are
are.
with Kashmiri Pandit. We are with Kashmiri Pandit.
Propaganda by saying
We are
just
with
because
Kashmiri Pandit. We want the rehabilitation of them.
the Prime Minister not
We want
endorse the film as
their national pride should be maintained.
No.
We have
Can the
been
Prime
asking.
Minister, can any union minister or can anybody not endorse the film based on the content of the film? If you support this film or if you support my story, are you supporting a propaganda? Is anything that has been said in the story?
And before Sanjay Jha answers that, I just
No,
want to read out what
can I
Sudipto
have a
Sen said.
quick response?
No, Sanjay Jha, because you were talking about the comments made by Sudipto Sen, you took his name. I'll tell you what he said. And I'm quoting now, whatever Lapid said is completely his personal opinion. No personal likes, dislikes mentioned in juror's official presentation. Jury does not indulge in any political comments on any film. Any political comments have nothing to do with jury board. There you go. These are not my words. I just read out what Sudipto Sen said. Jury
Yeah.
member
Okay,
if he
now-
Sanjay Jha.
Anyway, my point is very
No, why
straightforward.
anyway? Here you
Ganesh,
were,
can I-
but Mr. Jha,
Ganesh,
why
can I
anyway?
answer the...
You were so
Can I answer the
confident of what
question?
Sudipto Sen said.
Yeah, can I answer your question? The bottom line is very straightforward. According to the jury, or Mr. Sen is part of the jury, the film did not meet the standards deserving of even qualifying for the, according to the
That's
jury.
okay. You don't like the
award.
film, don't give it an award.
1 minute. Are we become such a fascist country and we're doing thought policing that experts or acclaimed directors and producers can't have a view on a film?
This is
I mean, I
not
can't
thought
understand
policing,
why the
Sanjay
right
Jha.
wing
This is
getting,
not.
you know, so
This is
agitated
not thought
because the
policing. I'll
film
tell you
has
what
been
this
trashed. It has
is.
been
This is
trashed.
victim
I mean,
shaming.
it happens,
This is
you know.
denying the
Some people
genocide.
like the
This is
code of
this.
code.
To lie.
It is this. This is not thought policing.
Yet.
Are we living in a
Sushil
fascist,
Pandit, is this
authoritative
thought policing?
country?
Denying the
why
genocide is
the
thought
BJP
policing for the likes of Sanjay Jha.
sympathizers- No, 1 minute. We are not talking
Pranesh,
about the reality and the
Pranesh,
media. The reality is acknowledged.
we
I
are
don't
a
think
free
anybody on your
country.
program.
Coming to you, General
1 minute,
Saab, coming
I
to you
can't-
after
I can't
Sushil
hear
Pandit.
anybody.
General
So
Bakshi, coming to you after Sushil Pandit.
I'm assuming you're
Pranesh.
hearing me. I can't hear anybody. So let me make one line and then I will quit your program.
No,
The
you don't have to
reality
quit. You
is
just have to answer, Sanjay Jha.
As far
Don't
as
quit.
The film is concerned. The
He wants
jury
to run away
feels
because
it
he's
is
being caught.
No,
substandard.
because then he'll
Lying.
say that the anchor is fascist. I don't want that tag. Don't run away. Don't quit the program. Just answer the questions. Sushil
What is
Pandit.
the question?
Thank
I can
you,
hear. What's
Pranesh.
your question?
Ganesh, we are a free democratic country. Every citizen has a right to express his views, but you can't abuse that freedom to lie blatantly, misquote blatantly, and when caught red-handed, just flee. That's not par for the course. Here, jury has distanced itself from his views. It is not kosher for the jury member or the head of the jury to mention these things in a formal, official manner in your speech. It is never the tradition. This tradition was breached. And indeed, disparaging remarks about one film singled out. This shows how politically loaded this entire exercise of speech was. Two, it is not one solitary example. This is a continuing pattern ever since the film was released. And hence the ecosystem just crawled out of the woodwork to start chirping again, start clapping again, because they found one peg to hold on to.
You know,
Therefore,
if
it
you
is
thought,
very
viewers,
clear.
that what Nadav Lapid said, if though his comments were vulgar, what Sanjay Jha has said, that this is thought policing. General Saab, is this thought
Pranesh, if you
policing?
can hear me. Pranesh, if you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you. I'll
Please,
come to you
Sanjay,
after
I
General
think,
Bakshi. Yes.
The others also deserve a chance. Excuse me. You know, when the film deals with a seminal issue of our times, with a deeply disturbing exodus of an entire community which was tantamount to genocide and ethnic cleansing. 550,000 of them are today still thrown out of their homes, rotting in the refugee camps of Jammu and Delhi, right? The film was made to highlight their plight, to bring to the notice of the world that such a thing has happened. When you use the word propaganda for such a film which depicts a real incident, it is not based on fiction. It was depicting the reality of that era, and so help us God, I was posted in J&K 1990-91 when all this happened. I saw it with my own eyes, right? You are dealing with something that happened, Sanjay. And when you term it as propaganda and then you qualify the word propaganda with vulgar propaganda, right? And you have a totally the same gentleman. I'm sure if he's asked what is his view about Schindler's List, or you know, there are so many films on the Holocaust, Stalag Luft 17, I mean, you name it. That is kosher, that is par for the course, because a particular community, his community was involved, and when somebody else is killed, they deserve to be exterminated. And if somebody speaks out as to why it happened to them, it is vulgar propaganda. Propaganda means falsehood. Propaganda means, blowing it out of proportion. Propaganda means that it is the untruth. I'm sorry, we live to see that horrible truth, Sanjay.
Let me bring Majid Hydri.
Should I add something?
I was there,
Should I
damn
add
it.
something?
Sushil Pandit, I'll come to you. Let me bring in Majid Hydri. Majid Hydri, General Bakshi is saying he was there. He saw what happened. Who do you believe? Nadav
Pranesh, I
Lapid,
would
General
say-
Bakshi.
Pranesh, I would say बड़े बेआबरू होकर तेरे कूचे से हम निकले. Because the IFFI jury has made a verdict which asks us one question to all of us. That
Listen,
do we
it is
stand
not
with
the IFFI
real-
jury. Please, let me correct you, Mr. Majid Hydri. It is not the IFFI jury.
No, but he was one of the worthy jury members. How can I forget that?
But
And he was
there are
speaking
other
on behalf
members
of the
also
jury.
equally worthy.
No, it will now be interpretation, but let me come to the main crux
So
of
you
the
tell
issue.
me, what is your interpretation of that vulgar propaganda comment made by Nadav Lapid?
Yes, that is what I am coming to. That vulgar propaganda comment has one message. Do we stand with the real or do we stand with the real?
Okay,
Do we
what
stand
is-
with
what
Vivek
is-
Agnihotri who
what is the
minted
real?
fortunes?
Propaganda
out of the
didn't
movie?
happen. No. The propaganda, what happened with Kashmiri Hindus was propaganda. Genocide never happened, now. Kashmiri
See-
Kashmiri Pandits, Kashmiri Hindus decided one fine day you know, we don't like the weather here, let's move out.
Propaganda lies in Islamophobia. And I'm coming to the point. Do we stand with Vivek Agnihotri, who has minted fortunes out of this
What are
money,
you
or do we
saying,
stand with
Majid
Kashmiri
Hydari? I knew you would come up with this.
denied justice for
Everything
32
is
years?
Islamophobia. Everything.
Yes,
You can't
exactly.
see the pain of Hindus. Sanjay Jha says,
Sir,
you know, this is
vulgar
thought policing.
propaganda.
We are not here. We are not even caring to spare a thought for those who are fighting for justice. But there are people like Sanjay Jha who are concerned whether or not this is thought policing. It has come to this.
Pranesh Saab, vulgar propaganda means nafrat ka nanga naach, and that is what has been portrayed.
क्या है नफरत का नंगा नाच? माजिद हैदरी, क्या है नफरत का नंगा नाच? वही तो फिल्म दिखा रही है जो हिंदुओं के साथ हुआ.
No, it was the larger agenda of Islamophobia.
क्या था larger agenda? Larger agenda to drive out Hindus?
Larger political agenda of a political party. Do we not know that? Are we with Vivek Agnihotri, who minted fortunes, or are we with the Kashmiri Pandit?
Forget about Vivek Agnihotri. Did the genocide happen or not? Yes or no? Majid Hydari, did the genocide happen or no?
The tragedy of Kashmiri Pandit.
I'll tell you the tragedy. No, the tragedy with people like you. If I ask you, Mr. Majid Hydari, if I ask you 1 minute, Mr. Majid Hydari, let me expose you. Who do you think was? Who do you think? And you have to take a position. I am now going to take names. Who was Burhan Wani? Worthy son of the soil?
I don't know which Burhan
You don't
Wani
know
was
who is
talking
Burhan
about.
Wani?
I don't know.
There you go. This is vulgar propaganda. Sushil Pandit, this is vulgar propaganda.
Yes.
No,
You know, these words like vulgar and ugly,
communal harmony.
I have
You are
just
trying
one
to create
simple
a- that
question
is the
to ask.
problem.
How do you show, how do you depict a gang raped woman then sawed alive on a chainsaw look appetizing? It indeed was vulgar, because that's how it happened. How do you show
why was the
rice,
blood put on one
blood-soaked
particular
rice of
community,
the
Sushil
husband shoved into the mouth of his wife when she begged to be killed along with him because there was nobody left to look after them? How do you make it look appetizing? How do you
Sir, the
aesthetically
pain of
present
Kashmiri
it?
Pandit is all the way true, it's all the way pure, but how?
I would like
why
to know,
do you blame one
how do
particular
you make
community?
these
That is my
vulgar
point.
things look beautiful? Look
No, the
kosher?
vulgarity lies in Islamophobia. The
What kind of
vulgarity is in
aesthetics do you
Islamophobia, that is
bring
my point.
to a 4-year-old killed with an emptied AK-47 magazine into him, his wide open eyes? How do you make that look
The vulgarity
appetizing?
lies in the bigotry.
Beautiful.
Vulgarity lies in Islamophobia portrayed in that
Isn't
movie
that
to benefit
vulgar?
one political ideology. That is the
What
vulgarity of the
happened
movie.
to Kashmiri Hindus was vulgarity personified, was vulgarity in its highest degree.
See, don't mix
And if
up
the
Kashmiri
film is
Pandit
trying
with what
to show
Vivek
this
Agnihotri has
without
done
any
for a communal
embroidery,
for a commercial
Majid
business.
Hydari,
without
I
any
expose you in
sugarcoat,
one question.
without any paint.
You can live in denial, that won't change anything. You said you want
Pradesh
Hindu-Muslim
Saab,
harmony.
vulgarity lies in
For that, Mr.
Islamophobia.
Majid Hydari, my dear
Vulgarity
Mr.
lies in
Majid
bigotry.
Hydari, for harmony, you will have to accept the truth.
Yes.
And
the
Suranda
truth is that
Vashisht
nobody
said at the
knows-
beginning
nobody
that you
knows
have
who is
to
right
accept
or
the
wrong.
truth. There is no
Why
other
does
way.
it become a
Because if you
right
don't, there can never be reconciliation.
No, Pranesh, what harmony? Harmony of a
Reconciliation will
refugee
not
camp.
come through Islamophobia. Reconciliation will not come through Islamophobia. That will benefit.
No,
some
we'll
political
come to
ideology.
reconciliation later. Let's first talk about justice. Reconciliation can happen later. We are in no rush about
Why
reconciliation.
is the government delivering justice? Why are Kashmiri Pandits
reconciliation
on the
with
streets
whom?
in Jammu?
Reconciliation
Why
with
can't we
jihad.
get justice?
Reconciliation with
I
jihad.
am talking on behalf of Kashmiri Pandits. I am not here to fight with you.
No, if you were talking on behalf of Kashmiri Pandits, you wouldn't be saying what you are saying.
My brother,
ugliest
you are
face
my
of
brother,
jihad.
you will always be my brother.
You
Now,
speak on
I
behalf
take
of
you as my
jihad.
elder brother, you are always
You
my
justify
brother, but
jihad.
when
You
Kashmiri Pandits
rationalize
get justice-
jihad. You give cover to jihad.
And the
That's
poster
what you do.
poster boy of jihad, Burhan Wani, he is not even ready to accept who Burhan Wani was. That's the reality. Sunanda Vashisht coming in.
Not the topic. Topic is Kashmir
Ask
Pandit
him,
tragedy.
how do you
And BJP
show
failure
the
to deliver
story
justice.
of Kashmiri Pandits without showing who caused this to them? How do you show it? Tell him, ask him on the show, put him on the spot, tell him, how do you show the story of Kashmiri Pandits without showing how the entire community colluded with terrorists? There were only so many people with the guns. Not everyone had the guns. People do not run away from homes because 20 people have guns. People run away from homes when terrorism has colluded with, terrorists have colluded with the larger society. That is what happens. I am so disgusted that in 2022, I have to explain this to Majid Hydari. We have gone blue in our faces for explaining this for 32 years, that it was not just the 10 people with guns. It was people who colluded with them, ordinary people who colluded with them, our neighbors. It was betrayal in the backyard. How do you show our story without showing that betrayal in the backyard? Why are you not ready to hear this? Learn to accept the truth. We cannot go ahead if you don't accept the truth.
Okay, 1 minute. I am bringing in Mr. Tiwari, but before that, quick point. Mr. Majid Hydari, बस इतना समझ लीजिए कि कुछ लोगों के पास बंदूक था, कुछ लोगों ने माइक और लाउड स्पीकर लिया हुआ था, और आपको भी पता है माइक और लाउड स्पीकर से उन्होंने क्या बोला, क्या किया. किशोर तिवारी,
I respect your views, but the French don't represent the community, and the law.
जरा माजिद को रोकना, मैं बताता हूँ.
Nobody has been convicted, rather in the case of.
नहीं, माजिद को, किशोर तिवारी, मैं माजिद को तो रोक दूंगा, लेकिन प्रोपेगेंडा को कौन रोकेगा? इकोसिस्टम जो प्रोपेगेंडा कर रहा है, उसको कौन रोकेगा?
नहीं, हमने एक ही बात बोला कि कश्मीर फाइल्स के ऊपर बीजेपी ने राजनीति की तो की, लेकिन मैं जनरल बख्शी हो या सुनंदा हो, इनकी बातों से सहमत हूं कि कश्मीरों का प्रश्न और 1.5 लाख फैमिलीज का रिहेबिलिटेशन 8 साल में हुआ नहीं, वो होना चाहिए. अभी भी वहां पर जिनोसाइड हो रहा है, और जिन्होंने कश्मीरी फाइल पिक्चर बना के पैसे कमाए, वो उनके पुनर्वास में कुछ लगाए, यही शिवसेना की मांग है. दूसरा, माजिद जी,
नहीं, 1 मिनट. किशोर तिवारी साहब, ये तो आप बोल रहे हैं कि ये मांग है, मांग तो ठीक है, लेकिन आपके पार्टी के जो नेता हैं, और 8 नहीं, 8 से अधिक, वो ये कह रहे हैं कि ये दिस फिल्म इज प्रोपेगेंडा.
नहीं, जिस तरीके से खुद मोदी जी, अमित शाह जी, इन्होंने प्रोपेगेंडा किया, तो वो हाईजैक करना चाहते थे कश्मीरों के.
क्या प्रोपेगेंडा, कौन सा एस्पेक्ट आपको लगता है प्रोपेगेंडा है? कश्मीर फाइल्स या जो कश्मीर स्टोरी है, जेनोसाइड जो हुआ है, उसका कौन सा एस्पेक्ट, किशोर तिवारी जी, पूरा देश आपको सुन रहा है, कौन सा एस्पेक्ट आपको लगता है प्रोपेगेंडा है या वल्गर है? आप बता दीजिए.
नहीं, मैं पिक्चर के पिक्चराइजेशन को लेके नहीं बोल रहा हूं, मैं लार्जर राजनीति के लिए बोल रहा हूं कि बीजेपी ने वो पिक्चर हाईजैक कर अपने पॉलिटिकल गेन के लिए यूज किया. मेरे प्रवक्ता संजय राउत ने भी यही बोला कि इससे आया हुआ पैसा कश्मीरों के पुनर्वास के लिए जाना चाहिए, और कश्मीर फाइल्स 2 भी बनना चाहिए, जिसमें इनको मालूम पड़े कि आज कश्मीरी पंडितों के क्या हाल है. मेरी पार्टी कश्मीरी पंडितों के साथ थी, रहेगी और रहेगी. आज भी वही हाल है.
तो नदव लापिद ने जो बोला, आप उससे डिसएग्री कर रहे हैं ना? जो उसने वल्गर और प्रोपेगेंडा बोला, वो आप कंडेम कर रहे हैं ना?
नहीं, मैंने पहले ही बोला आपको कि मैं जो
कूट चला रहे हैं प्रणेश जी. आप
don't trivialize this, please. We're discussing something serious. Don't say all of this.
हम कश्मीरी पंडितों के साथ है, लैपिड के साथ नहीं है. ये मैं बार बार क्लियर कर रहा हूं, आप मुझ पे ये बात ला रहे हैं.
मैं ला इसीलिए रहा हूं क्योंकि आपके पार्टी के जो नेता है, बयान आया. जनरल बख्शी, and I'm coming to Sunanda Vashisht after this. General Bakshi,
Ganesh, I'm on the show. If I'm not needed, I'll leave. No,
you're needed, Tehseen. You're needed.
No, I've been waiting. It's not even one line I've said, yeah.
General Bakshi, how can we ensure that this does not happen again?
Look, when you use very convenient political labels like Islamophobia and say that the genocide should not be talked about because it will lead to Islamophobia, the ethnic cleansing should not be talked about because it will lead to Islamophobia. You know, they are free to murder, kill, rape, drive out an entire community, prevent them from coming back. But if you talk against it, it is Islamophobia. ये तो साहब बड़ी बड़ी बढ़िया एक स्ट्रैटेजी है, चित्त भी मेरी पट भी मेरी, मैं मारूं मैं काटूं, अगर कुछ बोलो तो इस्लामोफोबिया. अरे साहब रहने दीजिए इस्लामोफोबिया है, देन इट इज जस्टिफाइड इस्लामोफोबिया. अगर आप लोगों को मारें काटें, औरतों का बलात्कार करें, असमत लूटें और फिर बोले इस्लामोफोबिया हो रहा है साहब, तो होना चाहिए, जस्टिफाइड है, जस्टिफाइड है, समझ रहे हैं आप. You can't lipopoto this genocide. This is the worst crime against humanity. But इस्लामोफोबिया का आपको लेवल मिल गया है कि अगर कोई ऐसी बात करता है कि साहब उन्होंने ये किया, नहीं बोल सकते आप, इस्लामोफोबिया होगा. उनको माइग्रेंट बता दो कि वो तो साहब उनको वहां की ठंडी हवा, आबो हवा अच्छी नहीं लगती थी, वो 50 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड गर्मी में सड़ के मरना चाहते थे, इसलिए वो माइग्रेंट हो गए साहब. अगर आप कुछ और बोलोगे तो इस्लामोफोबिया. वाह 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 साहब, क्या ये तो एक आई हैवंट हर्ड अ ग्रेटर
तहसीन पूनावाला. यस,
एक आपने लोग मारे, परिवार के परिवार खत्म कर दिए, औरतों की इज्जत लूटी, गले रेते. Islamophobia.
No, I have nothing to disagree with General Saab. I'll just take 30 seconds and I think I speak even on behalf of Sanjay. Continuously this term is being used, echo chamber, echo chamber. Let's agree, me and Sanjay hypothetically are in echo chamber. So we are not in power. When General Saab says that people have been labeled migrants, what has the present government done to change their status or to rehabilitate them? I don't have a problem with what this filmmaker, what he said, didn't say, forget that. I am asking you, Anurag Thakur was sitting there, was he not sitting in the front row? Why didn't he get up and speak? Why hasn't the government of India got up and speak? Whose guest was he? Was he the ecosystem's guest? Was he Sanjay's guest? Was he Tehseen Poonawala's guest? Was he Kishore Tiwari's guest? Was he Sanjay Raut's guest? He was the guest of Anurag Thakur. For hell's sake, enough of this ecosystem. The day I am in power, I will make people straight. I am not in power. Those who are in power should be held accountable. The question should be asked of this government which has the spine of a molten eclair. What have they done?
Tehseen, all of what you said is correct, which is why we have that line that he was given the platform by the center. But tell me, you support the Congress ideology. Congress was in power. What did the Congress do? They allowed it to happen, denied justice. Sunanda Vashish coming in. Yes.
I strongly contest. Sunanda, I'm so sorry. I'll just take 5 seconds. So sorry. I strongly contest. I think she's speaking. Let it speak.
You are saying the truth. This is Government of India platform, so they should have stood up. My question to you is, as soon as this comment came out, your party's spokesperson, Supriya Srinath and everybody, you can check their tweets. They were totally agreeing with him. They said what he said was right. This film is a propaganda. This film is an ugly propaganda. Go check the tweet. That is what is shocking. It's not that, why would this become a right-wing or a left-wing issue? Why would this become a BJP or a Congress issue? Why would this become, this is a shame, a national shame that has happened. The Kashmir Pandit genocide is a national shame. We all must stand up for it. Why does your party spokesperson agree with Lapid? Why does she publicly agree with her?
For the last 8 years, and since this genocide happened, terrible genocide, 14 years the BJP is in power and the Congress is out of power. What the Congress tweets is practically of no use. Right. But I agree with you, Sunanda. We have to be sensitive. I agree with you. I cannot get away with that. I am asking a more fundamental question. On the platform of the government of India, someone's making a statement, the opposition has gone on one tangent. Why is the government of India even now not acting? Number one. Number two, the communal bill, the genocide bill is ready. I have worked on it. The BJP has a super majority.
That's really the tragedy, Tehseen and Sunanda. I think in the end, I just want to quickly sum up. No, Tehseen, 32 years later, Sunanda Vashish, 32 years later, we are still fighting for recognition of this genocide. Forget justice. Justice will only happen once the genocide is recognized. Nothing stops the government of India, the government of the day, to present the bill in parliament. That's the least they can do. I thank all of you for joining us in debate number 1. Completely out of time. We move on, viewers. It's a fight that's going down to the wire in the most difficult phase for Gujarat elections. Phase 1 will see polling take place in Saurashtra, Kutch, parts of South Gujarat. And just hours before that, the Congress party has been put in the dock again. This after the new Congress president Mallikarjun Kharge compared the Prime Minister to Ravan. Addressing a public meeting for the Congress, Kharge said that the PM is omnipresent in local, state, Lok Sabha elections, just like Ravan was with over 100 heads. His words, not mine. The BJP says that Congress is resorting to Gaali politics to garner votes.
अरे आप तो प्रधानमंत्री हो, आपको काम दिया गया है, वो काम करो, वो छोड़ के म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन इलेक्शन, एमएलए इलेक्शन, खैर एमपी इलेक्शन, उनको प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनना है तो फिरते रहते। अब भाई तुम्हारे को तुम्हारी सूरत कितनी बार देखना, कॉर्पोरेशन में भी तुम्हारी सूरत देखना, एमएलए इलेक्शन भी तुम्हारी सूरत देखना, कितने हैं भाई? क्या आपके रावण के जैसा 100 मुख है क्या है? और आपके जैसा आदमी जो आप हमेशा क्लेम करते हैं मैं गरीब हूं, मैं वो, हम भी गरीब है, हम तो गरीब से गरीब है। एक बार अगर झूठ बोलेंगे लोग सुन लेंगे, 2 बार भी बोलेंगे तो भी सुन लेंगे, कितने बार झूठ बोलेंगे? झूठ पर झूठ, ये झूठों के सरदार है।
A leader who is considered as a global leader today across the world, उसको रावण कहना और उसके लिए इस प्रकार के अपशब्दों का प्रयोग करना, यह केवल और केवल मोदी जी का अपमान है, ऐसा नहीं है। मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे जी, सोनिया गांधी जी, राहुल जी, आप जान ले, यह प्रत्येक गुजराती का अपमान है। गुजरात की मिट्टी पर खड़े होकर गुजरात के बेटे के लिए जिस प्रकार के शब्दों का प्रयोग किया है, उससे कांग्रेस को आईना दिखाने का काम गुजरात की जनता करेगी।
It is shameful, it is demeaning, it is despicable, but it is deliberate. The Congress whole architecture hates Narendra Modi ji because they are not able to digest how they are being defeated by him repeatedly and the BJP. Play politics, but play by some rules. Criticize, do. But this is an utter foul game in which you are going to fall yourself. Prime Minister of India is a leader of great vision and a great courage and a large heart. These kind of baseless condemnation has never deterred him.
Let's open this up quickly. Sanju Verma, the national spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, advocate Kapil Madan, political analyst. Sanju Verma, 2007, Sonia Gandhi says Maut ka Saudagar. The new Congress president ahead of the first phase of polling calls PM Modi Ravan, and a day earlier he had said Jhutho ka Sardar.
You know, Pranesh, there is a famous phrase, people who don't learn from history are destined to, doom themselves. And I think that is precisely what is happening with the Congress party. They've still not learned lessons from, that Chai Wala Jaib, Neech Chai Wala Jaib by Manishankar Iyer. Today, Manishankar Iyer has been consigned to the dustbin of India's political landscape. Nobody knows anything about him. The only reason people still remember him is because of that utterly obnoxious statement prior to Prime Minister Modi coming, to Delhi with a thumping majority as the Prime Minister of this country. I just want to ask Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge one thing. You have a problem that Prime Minister Modi municipal election का भी चेहरा है, Prime Minister Modi assembly election का भी चेहरा है, Prime Minister Modi Lok Sabha election का भी चेहरा है. I want to ask you, Mr. Kharge, you were the president of the Karnataka Congress for the longest time. You have represented Gulbarga for the longest time. You were also the leader of the opposition on the floor of the parliament on the Congress party's behalf. What have you done for the Karnataka Congress in the last 20, 30 years? Your contribution is zero. What has been your contribution as the leader of opposition for the Congress on the floor of the parliament? your contribution is zero. And let me remind Pranesh, your audience, that last time in the Lok Sabha polls, Mallikarjun Kharge faced a humiliating defeat. He lost by over 95,000 votes from Gulbarga, which is supposedly his stronghold. Now I will just quickly finish by saying, why is it that Mallikarjun Kharge has resorted to the politics of Gaali Galoch? It is because the Congress knows very well कि अब की बार भी डबल इंजन सरकार 2022 में गुजरात में
Okay, Kapil Madan, is the Congress abusing Modi to get votes? Is that the strategy?
Now, Pranesh, I would just request that you give me half the uninterrupted time that you give to Sanju Verma, and I will respond to all the charges. Now, first, Sanju used the word that Manishankar Iyer is in a dustbin of political landscape. So she's trying to draw an analogy because he's out of power. So I would just like to remind her, for about 70 years, if you call that opposition is a dustbin, then you have been in the dustbin for longest period of time in the independent history of India. Madam, please.
Let him answer.
Madam, I understand.
Let Kapil Madan answer.
Madam, I get your.
Sanju Verma, let Kapil Madan answer. You had your say, let him answer. Yes. Kapil Madan, make your point. Yes.
I knew she will interrupt.
Make your point, Kapil Madan, make your point.
I will interrupt if you.
So that's point number one.
No, let's not talk over each other. Kapil Madan, quickly.
So I am just drawing the same analogy to her that for longest period of time, the BJP has, if staying in the opposition is a political dustbin, then the BJP has spent most of the time.
You're not answering the question.
Now I am answering the question. I'll respond.
Is that more important what Sanju Verma said or what Kharge said?
No, of course. What Sanju is, I am answering here to Sanju. She is the debater here. I'm answering her charge. I mean, what was the point of bringing about Manishankar Iyer when you're discussing Mr. Kharge's statement?
Mr. Madan, the reason she spoke about Manishankar Iyer, Mr. Madan, the reason she talked about Manishankar Iyer, because Manishankar Iyer used the word niche.
Allow me.
He used the word niche that caused the Congress.
Now, let me respond.
It can't happen this way.
Let me respond.
We've run out of time. Kapil Madan, I'm sorry. We are unfortunately out of time. Sanju Verma, Kapil Madan, thank you for joining us. Couldn't get enough time on this, but thanks for watching, viewers. That's all we could pack in. The news hour coming up with Navika Kumar.
Salve, we are talking about transparency. Do you believe the government too needs to be transparent? For instance, if it chooses to return a file to the Supreme Court, collegium of a judge who has been nominated or cleared for appointment, should the public also not know why the file is being returned? To take this a step further, should the IB report and the background checks, etc., made public? Should it work the other way also?
This whole process, quite frankly, and if I may not mince my words, this whole process has become pretty hopeless. I'm sorry to say so. Today, the IB gives a report. Today you ask a person to become a judge. You ask the IB to report. The IB reports partly gossip. Do you want that to come in public domain? I don't want my personal life to come in public domain. I may not even want to be a judge. So this whole process, this whole system is incompatible with transparency. Let me tell you 3 reasons. First of all, and this is my firm belief, all judicial institutions hear cases in public, recess into their chambers and deliver judgments. What goes on inside chambers is never, ever the subject of public scrutiny. And if somebody was to ask a judge in your meeting, when you arrived at a consensus or dissent, what did you discuss? It would be the worst form of contempt, because you're trying to undermine the judiciary. You're trying to interfere with the process by which this beautiful system works. So the judiciary's transparency is, the judiciary speaks through its judgments, and that's the transparency. what judges discuss once they go into their chambers has to be protected. Here is a function where the judges are trying to come into public domain. You want one judge to pass comments on a sitting colleague in the High Court. I don't think that's the right thing to do. 3 judges or 5 judges consider the appointment of a judge to the Supreme Court. I'm not going by the gossip you've heard of what discussions take place. I am telling you on a principle, please consider. One of the judges may say, frankly, I think his judgments are third rate. You want that to come in public? The person is a sitting Chief Justice. You are considering his name for the Supreme Court. This is a process which has to be fundamentally different. If you have this kind of a tension between the government and the judiciary, and we have seen that the government says on the one hand, you've reduced us to a post office because the last word is with you. Many times, late Mr. Jaitley used to say, don't blame me, I'm the post office. I receive the file, I send it to the High Court, I get the file, I send it to them. In a situation like this, who takes responsibility? It's the...
AIMS servers remained down for the 7th day. A team of NIA visited the hospital to carry investigations into the ransomware attack. NIA has declared this a clear case of cyber terrorism. NHRC takes cognizance of the firing by the Assam armed forces in Meghalaya killing 6 people, asks the union government for measures to prevent such incidents in areas of border disputes between neighbouring states. After MLA and PSP chief Shivpal Yadav's security was downgraded from Z to Y category, he slammed BJP and said that now BJP's loss in UP will be even bigger.
Most pressing issue, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
हम ये भी पूछना चाहेंगे आज कि जब आपकी पार्टी एक रेप अक्यूज्ड राम रहीम को पैरोल पे छोड़ती है और मंत्रीगण
कोर्ट कौन चलाता है?
पैरोल कौन देता है?
कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है?
पैरोल कौन दे रहा है?
कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है? मैं दोबारा कह रही हूं, कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है? आपको लगता है कॉन्शियंशियस सरकार जहां पर मीडिया की नजर 24 घंटे है, जहां सिटीजन्स एंगेजमेंट है 24 घंटे, वहां पर इफेक्टिवली खुद को कटघरे में खड़े होने के लिए कोई भी राजनेता इस प्रकार का कोई कदम लेगा?
पर लोग जा रहे हैं,
नहीं है।
उनके प्रवचनों पर आपके मंत्री जाते हैं।
मैं दोबारा कहती हूं, अगर एक लॉ के मर्यादा में कोई भी कोर्ट कोई निर्णय लेता है, मैं दोबारा सीजीआई ने हाल फिलहाल में ये कहा कि भाई कोर्ट डरते हैं, मैं उस पर भी टिप्पणी नहीं कर रही हूं। मेरा ये आपसे पूछना है कि आपको लगता है कॉन्शियंशियस एक पॉलिटिशियन इस प्रकार का निर्णय लेगा? नहीं लेगा।
नहीं लिया, और पैरोल पे अगर कोर्ट की वजह से बाहर भी आए राम
तो
रहीम,
दोबारा तो आप जब प्रश्न पूछ रही थी तो आपको कोर्ट के संदर्भ में कहना चाहिए था।
लेकिन वो बाहर अगर आए हैं तो आप उनकी
मैं दोबारा कह रही हूं कि अगर वो कोर्ट की वजह से बाहर आए हैं तो आप कटघरे में पॉलिटिशियन को क्यों खड़ा कर रहे हैं?
क्योंकि पॉलिटिशियन वहां बैठकर सत्संग देख रहे।
मैं गई थी।
नहीं, पर आपकी पार्टी के लोग गए थे।
मैं गई थी। इसका मतलब कोई पुरुष नेता कुछ करेगा तो आप पुरुष से नहीं कहेंगे, महिला आपके सामने आएगी उससे पूछेंगे।
हेडलाइन?
नो, नॉट अ हेडलाइन, दिस इज हार्डली वन।
नहीं, पर
जी नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
ये सब आपके कॉलीग्स हैं, ये वहां जाकर सत्संग में बैठते हैं, आपको बुरा नहीं लगता?
पहले तो मैं दोबारा कहती हूं, आप जब सत्संग शब्द का इस्तेमाल करती हैं, कहीं ना कहीं आप इस बात को कुरेद रहे हैं, सिंस यू कॉल्ड मी हार्डकोर हिंदू टू बिगिन विद।
मैंने नहीं कहा, वो जवाहर सरकार ने कहा।
बट आई नो दैट यू हैव रीपोजिशन्ड इट एंड योर जक्सटापोजिशन इज वेल नोटेड। आप ये इसलिए कह रही हैं ताकि मेरे अंदर के हिंदू को कुरेद दें और बार बार कहें, अरे सत्संग में गए, सत्संग में गए, सत्संग में गए। दूसरे धर्म में आपको दिखाई दिए हैं कोई जो रेप के आरोपी हैं, मर्डर के आरोपी हैं? आप किसी भी मंच से किसी और धर्म के बारे में ऐसा बोलती हैं? या आपको हार्डकोर हिंदू आज मिला है मंच पे, तो इसलिए हिंदू है तो इससे पूछ लेते हैं?
अच्छा, अब सवाल पूछने के लिए पहले
हिंदू विद अ सरनेम कॉल्ड ईरानी। हाँ,
आप हिंदू हैं कि पारसी हैं? शादी के बाद
देखिए, पारसी रिलीजन में धर्मांतरण नहीं होता, और धर्मांतरण होता तो भी मैं गर्व से हिंदू हूं, मैं नहीं करती।
पहले कहा जाता था कि कांग्रेस
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today ended the last day of campaigning for the first phase of Gujarat polls, and in just 24 more hours, the big battle in Gujarat will be underway. Voting for phase 1 takes place on December 1st across 89 seats. The election in Prime Minister Narendra Modi's hometown is a prestige battle for the BJP, which is confident that it will only better its 2017 tally. The Aam Aadmi Party is a new entrant that hopes to give a fight to the BJP and for the Congress, which experts believe is likely to concede the opposition space to the Aam Aadmi Party. It's now resorted to Gaali politics just before the polls. Just a day after the new Congress president called Prime Minister Modi "Jhooton ka Sardar," he today went a step further and called the Prime Minister Ravan. Big coming from a party that even questioned the existence of Lord Ram. So, ladies and gentlemen, the political discourse couldn't have fallen any lower. From Maut Ka Saudagar in 2007 to Neech Aadmi to Auqat Bata Denge to now Ravan, Prime Minister Modi has been insulted time and again by the Congress party without any remorse. And I've taken just a few of the Gaalis just for your reference. The others, of course, you may not have forgotten Gandi Nali Ka Keeda, Boti Boti Kar Denge, and so many more. Mr. Kharge, while addressing a public meeting in Gujarat's Behrampura, said that we see Prime Minister Modi's face in every election. Does he have 100 heads like Ravan? Listen in to Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge's derogatory remarks.
अरे आप तो प्रधानमंत्री हो, आपको काम दिया गया है, वो काम करो। वो छोड़ के म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन इलेक्शन, एमएलए इलेक्शन, खैर एमपी इलेक्शन, उनको प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनना है तो फिरते रहते। अब भाई तुम्हारे को तुम्हारी सूरत कितनी बार देखना? कॉर्पोरेशन में भी तुम्हारी सूरत देखना, एमएलए इलेक्शन भी तुम्हारी सूरत देखना। कितने हैं भाई? क्या आपके रावण के जैसा 100 मुख है? क्या है?
और आपके जैसा आदमी जो आप हमेशा क्लेम करते हैं मैं गरीब हूं, मैं वो, हम भी गरीब है, हम तो गरीब से गरीब है। एक बार अगर झूठ बोलेंगे लोग सुन लेंगे, 2 बार भी बोलेंगे तो भी सुन लेंगे। कितने बार झूठ बोलेंगे? झूठ पर झूठ, ये झूठों के सरदार है।
The BJP, of course, did not take this lying down and has slammed the Congress party for the insults hurled at the Prime Minister. The BJP is called the Congress which isn't able to take the heat of the elections, and that's why has been now pushed as a fringe power in Indian politics, and has again abused Gujarat's son, and the people of the state will avenge this insult. Listen in to the BJP's fight back.
A leader who is considered as a global leader today across the world, usko Ravan कहना और उसके लिए इस प्रकार के अपशब्दों का प्रयोग करना यह केवल और केवल मोदी जी का अपमान है, ऐसा नहीं है। मल्लिकार्जुन खड़गे जी, सोनिया गांधी जी, राहुल जी, आप जान ले, यह प्रत्येक गुजराती का अपमान है। गुजरात की मिट्टी पर खड़े होकर गुजरात के बेटे के लिए जिस प्रकार के शब्दों का प्रयोग किया है, उससे कांग्रेस को आईना दिखाने का काम गुजरात की जनता करेगी।
It is shameful, it is demeaning, it is despicable, but it is deliberate. The Congress whole architecture hates Narendra Modi ji because they are not able to digest how they are being defeated by him repeatedly and the BJP. Play politics, but play by some rules, criticize, do. But this is an utter foul game in which you are going to fall yourself. The Prime Minister of India is a leader of great vision and a great courage and a large heart. These kind of baseless condemnation has never deterred him.
Well, the Congress has repeatedly abused Prime Minister, but the Prime Minister himself has often stated that he is unaffected by the abuses thrown at him. He in fact says insults only strengthen his resolve to serve the country. Listen.
तेलंगाना में जिन लोगों को सत्ता मिली, उनका सारा ध्यान मोदी को गाली देने और भाजपा को कोसने में लगा रहता है। मुझे कभी कभी लोग पूछते हैं कि मोदी जी आप थकते नहीं हो? तो मैंने उनको समझाया, देखो भाई, मैं डेली 2 किलो, 2.5 किलो, 3 किलो गाली खाता हूं कि कांग्रेस वाला कहे छे आ मोदी ने एनी औकात बतावी देशु। औकात, मोदी को उसकी औकात दिखा देंगे। अहंकार जो भाइयों, अहंकार जो। अरे मां बाप, તમે તો બધા રાજ પરિવારો છો, હું તો એક સામાન્ય પરિવારનું સંતાન છું। મારી કોઈ औकात નથી બાપા, તમે મારી औकात દેખાડવાની। અરે હું તો સેવક છું, સેવક છું, હું તો સેવાદાર છું, અને સેવક કે સેવાદારની એવી औकात હોતી હશે।
So the legitimate question we are asking on the Newshour tonight, will Congress insult again backfire on the grand old party? That's the question and that's the debate. Gujarat Gaali attack, the debate on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour at 9, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
And joining me tonight, Mr. Nalin Kohli, national spokesperson of the BJP, Lokesh Jindal, political analyst, leader of the Congress party, Huda Zariwala, political analyst. But my first question goes to Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author and scientist. Dr. Anand Ranganathan, I want to just ask you, does the Constitution allow people MCD polls, MLA polls, Lok Sabha polls, or does it not allow people to do that? And when Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge objects to Mr. Modi's face being seen in all of these polls, do you think his problem is Mr. Modi's visibility or the invisibility of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, who should have been campaigning for his party, but actually is on his Bharat Jodo Yatra, definitely not in election-bound states?
Good evening, Navika, and good evening to all my fellow panelists. Look, if Narendra Modi took a rupee for every time he was abused, slandered, vilified and maligned by the Congress, he'd be a billionaire by now. You know, he's been called Neech, Nali ka Keeda, Hitler, mass murderer, खून की खेती करने वाला, यमराज, पागल कुत्ता, बंदर, भस्मासुर. Remember Congress's Imran Masood, who threatened to chop Modi in pieces, boti. But look, we have to get away from this, because the fact is, when it comes to hurling abuses, Ravan was said today.
Yes, Ravan, you forgot to mention Ravan.
Yeah, because Navika had already mentioned it. No, but Navika, there are two issues here. I think we have to delve into this a little bit deeper. Because on the face of it, it might look that one person is abusing the other. The fact is, when it comes to hurling abuses, I'm afraid no party is doodh ka dhula. This is an issue that cuts across party lines, especially as something else cuts across party lines as well. The fact that 29% of our current sitting MPs cutting across party lines face serious criminal charges like murder, rape and dacoity. 36% of UP and 22% of sitting MLAs of Kerala, a state with 100% literacy, are facing currently serious criminal charges like murder and rape. So why on earth would such legislators shun their inherent characteristic? And as for hurling abuses, and the worst are the misogynistic ones, as you know, they wear it as a badge of honor, Navika. We don't have enough time to list all, but a small glimpse should suffice, if you permit me. Let's begin with our own Prime Minister and his Wah, kya 50 crore ki girlfriend hai, Jai Bet Shashi Tharoor, as well as calling Sonia Gandhi a Jersey cow, for which he had to apologize, by the way. Then there was BJP's Dhyan Shankar Singh, who compared BSP chief Mayawati with a prostitute. The same comparison made by BJP's Dr. Swami, but this time on Sonia Gandhi. Then there was the Goa CM Lakshmikant, who cautioned the nurses to not protest in the sun as they will get dark and have trouble finding a groom. Coming to Congress, my cup runneth over. There is Digvijay Singh, who addressed his own compatriot Natarajan as 100% tunch mal. There is Abhijit Mukherjee, who called protesting women as dented and painted. There is Jaiswal, who said as time passes, women get old and become not as fun as they used to be. There is Sanjay Nirupam, who said Smriti Irani thumke lagati hai. There is Rahul Gandhi, who said Modi was a coward in sending a woman to answer my questions. But one of the worst offenders is the SP, whose Asam Khan infamously commented on Jaya Prada's underwear. Look, the only solution to this epidemic, Navika, is an orientation course for our MPs and MLAs before the commencement of every assembly. A course where they are taught basic etiquettes.
But that can happen, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, once they win elections. The question here is, to win those elections, such language is being used, and this is not the first time the Congress has erred on the wrong side of courteous language. Forget courtesy. लोकेश जिंदल जी, राम तो काल्पनिक है, तो रावण कहां से आ गए? और अगर आप रावण में बिलीव कर रहे हैं तो राम में भी बिलीव करते रहेंगे. तो आप ये एटलीस्ट यू विल एडमिट टुनाइट that elections make you become Hindu, you understand Ram, Ravan and Ramayan, and then Shiv Bhakti happens around the same time, because सोमनाथ ना सही लेकिन आज महाकाल मंदिर तो राहुल गांधी चले ही गए. आप मुझे ये बताइए कि is Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge frustrated because Rahul Gandhi is not visible in Gujarat, or is it really because he doesn't know how to counter the power of Narendra Modi?
Navika, in fact, comparison of Narendra Modi ji with Ravan is not at all an abuse. In fact, it's his glorification. If you talk about Ravan, he was a universal monarch. He was the one who was trying to spread his all forms of power as well as his
Lokesh Jindal ji, aaj se can we start calling you Lokesh Ravan Jindal? Can Mr. Rahul Gandhi be also called Rahul Ravan Gandhi? Sonia Gandhi be called Sonia Ravan Gandhi? You know, what are you saying, Mr. Lokesh Jindal? You know, I know not being in power is extremely difficult, but does it really take away the power of reasoning to such an extent that Ravan seems like an icon to you?
No, this Prime Minister, he has been suppressing the poor, the vulnerable, women, and he's acting the manner in which in our ancient times,
suppressing women, how?
You know, Ravan as well as the entire India knows what you did in Hathras and how your government has been acting upon.
Then why don't you question? Why don't you then question? Why don't you then question Mr. Ashok Gehlot, who leads a state that is the rape capital of India? Why such questions about suppression of women are not asked to the Rajasthan Chief Minister? And today, let me put this to you, Mr. Lokesh Jindal, that Shraddha if her complaint had been heeded to by your Mahavikas Aghadi Sarkar in Maharashtra, Shraddha may not have been killed in such a brutal manner. But the question will never be asked from within. The Gaalis will only happen to Narendra Modi and the ilk. Mr. Nalin Kohli, the Congress today, forget even apologizing for calling the Prime Minister Ravan. They are actually justifying it. They are actually justifying it, Nalin Kohli. Respond to Mr. Lokesh Ravan Jindal.
What Delhi police doing?
सदमा में ऐसा अक्सर होता है. I think when you are in a state of shock, then I think you lose reasoning completely. And that's what seems to be with the Congress party. They are in political shock. They just don't have any logic to reasoning left. I mean, this is astounding, to say the least, Navika ji, that you suddenly try to turn around and make Ravan a hero and then say that this is something nice, and your question is valid. Would the Congress like to call Rahul Ravan instead of today? Perhaps he will get the brains of 100 heads,
and every
which may enable him to achieve so many other things.
Who is countering the Ravan, which has oppressed the masses with his tyrannical rule.
Wonderful.
And again, history would
the one who is a genuine Hari Shivbhat
will come to an end.
Yes. Very nice of you to come up with these themes. Trust you to think of Lord Ram in your
Lokesh Jindal, Mr. Lokesh Jindal. Now you cannot interrupt at every single word that Mr. Nalin Kohli utters. Allow him to complete his point, and then you can use whatever language. Certainly, slightly parliamentary will be allowed on this channel. Nalin Kohli.
And so, I mean, here is Mr. Jindal remembering Lord Ram, comparing him with Rahul Gandhi, and considering Ravan to be the new Lord of wisdom. In any case, they forgot Lord Ram when it came to filing their affidavit. So, end of the day, Navika, this is a brazen attempt to gloss over the fact that the Congress party and its leadership always hurls the choicest abuses against Narendra Modi. They have spared no one, neither his family in terms of his family members, neither they are sparing him. It's relentless, it's consistent. It just shows the pathological, deep-hated dislike, hatred for Narendra Modi. And perhaps the reason for that is to do that the Congress is ejected out of power due to the popularity of Narendra Modi ji. They have forgotten the fact that people in a democracy vote when they believe that the leader they are voting for, the party they are voting for, will help achieve their dreams, deliver on their promises. The Congress, having not done all of that, now believes that by abusing the Prime Minister, abusing Narendra Modi personally, they will somehow take the fringe vote, which is like say the extreme left or something like that, that is completely opposed to the BJP. So this is a warped sort of a political narrative that they are trying to build, and a warped political strategy. They are entitled to it, but if they believe that this is going to pay them dividends, they can keep believing the false.
Ravan belonged to a high lineage. Ravan was a Uch Kul Sadasya. We are not at all hurling abuses on the Prime Minister. In fact, we are comparing him to the high lineage that he belongs to, the high friends that he has, and all forms of glory that he has. What we are saying is, we are standing with the
Lokesh Jindal, Anand Ranganathan, do you think Mr. Lokesh Jindal should now actually campaign for all Congress leaders to have Ravan as their middle name, because he is talking and extolling the virtues of Ravan tonight?
हम तो रावण का विरोध कर रहे हैं.
Lokesh, please. Lokesh, I didn't interrupt. Navika, I think Lokesh does have a point. There is the only similarity I can see between Rahul Gandhi and Bhagwan Ram is कि भगवान राम को 14 साल का वनवास मिला था, अभी राहुल गांधी को 10 साल का तो हो जाएगा. 2029 तक 15 साल का वनवास. So I think Rahul Gandhi will do one better than Lord Ram. He will be exiled for 15 years और उसके बाद पता नहीं योगी आने वाला है तो उसके साथ 5 साल और. तो मुझे लगता है Lokesh Jindal has a better chance of becoming the Prime Minister than Rahul Gandhi. But where are we going with this?
We are
is the question that
Ram Sena.
Lokesh, please don't.
We are no more concerned with the prime ministership.
Look,
yes, that's pretty evident. That's pretty evident. ये अब उस अवस्था में है जहां worldly things like prime ministership don't matter to them.
हाँ, ये अब कावड़िया, सबने कावड़िया ले लिया और ये कावड़िया लेके चल पड़े हैं। ये अब इनको पावर की कोई वो नहीं है।
इस भारत
जो राजस्थान में जो चल रहा है,
राहुल गांधी जी से है,
जो राजस्थान में टसल चल रहा है,
country is being destroyed by the present prime minister. The entire world is seeing how Rahul Gandhi had took upon the onus so as to counter this politics of hatred.
Then hear what Anand Ranganathan ji is saying.
Yes.
Why is there a fight in Rajasthan between Gehlot and Pilot? Why is there a fight in Karnataka between Siddaramaiya and DK Shiv Kumar? You know, power इनको चाहिए नहीं, power इनको चाहिए नहीं क्योंकि लोग दे नहीं रहे, लेकिन कुर्सी की लड़ाई जारी है. Dr. Anand Ranganathan.
Lokesh, just a very simple question. Who do you support, Sachin Pilot or Mr. Gehlot?
I support Congress and its ideology.
Which is non-election and
which is belief in democracy, which is belief in tolerance, pluralism, secularism, as well as
all right.
The constitution
so Mr. Nalin Kohli calling the Prime Minister Ravan is a demonstration of being tolerant. Calling the Prime Minister आपको आपकी औकात दिखा देंगे is a demonstration of tolerance. Calling him a झूठों का सरदार and मौत का सौदागर and नीच and चाय वाला and बोटी बोटी कर देंगे and Hitler and Gandhi Nali ka Kira, all these are demonstration of tolerance by the Congress party. Respond to this utterly obnoxious expression given by Mr. Lokesh Jindal.
Can you respond to madness? Who can respond to madness? There is no answer to that. The world is going to laugh on this. And everyone who has any amount of sense in their cranial cavity is going to say that the Congress party has not lost the plot but lost its absolute balance.
Have you seen your track record, sir?
What kind of argument is this? You call somebody these kind of words?
What form of language does the leaders use in the parliament?
Leave it. Lokeshji, don't interrupt me. I'm honestly, leave it. Lokeshji, I have not interrupted you.
Lokeshji, please, tolerance.
This is not
please
done.
Allow him to make his point.
Ravan, absolutely not. Absolutely. I can understand Lokeshji's problem. His president, handpicked by Sonia Gandhi ji and Rahul Gandhi ji perhaps, because they are the supreme leaders of the Congress party, has today said something in his campaign that obviously is not acceptable, calling Narendra Modi ji Ravan. Now after that they are forced to defend it. Is they indefensible? And in defending it, they are taking it to a new level of absurdness that I have not, at least on a television debate, encountered in several decades.
Well, I want to ask Huda Zariwala, it's not just the Congress. The Aam Aadmi Party has also resorted to its own level of Gaali Galoch that they have done. Well, Gopal Italia has called the Prime Minister Neech. Arvind Kejriwal has called the Prime Minister mad and a psychopath in the past. I want to ask you, do you think this can yield electoral dividends? Is that why political leaders tend to resort to this kind of language? Or do you think it's the nervousness that spills out every so often?
Good evening, Navika ji. Thank you so much for the question. I would like to respond to that by saying that all these name callings and these Gaali politics should not be tolerated by any party whatsoever, be it the Aam Aadmi Party, the Congress, or the BJP for that matter. Now I can go into the details of the insults hurled by the BJP time and again to not just Aam Aadmi Party but Congress and other parties as well. But that will not serve the purpose. This at a time of election, why can we not talk about issues that matter to the Aam Aadmi? Why can we not talk about, let's say, unemployment, corruption, health, education, the issues where the people, the Janta of Gujarat, or for that matter, the Janta of Delhi for the MCD post will actually vote for? I mean, can we not understand
so let's talk about the issues. Let me tell you, per capita net state domestic product has gone up in 2010 and 11 from 77,000 to 2,12,000 in 2021. The gross state domestic product has gone up from 5.5 lakh crores in 2010-11 to about 16.5 lakh crores in 2021. Average inflation was 2014-15 at 5.5%. It's now at 4.9%, below 5%. And number of factories have gone up from 21,000 to 28,500 in Gujarat. All of this shows, improvement. But I have not heard any Aam Aadmi Party leader referring to any of these numbers. What they are talking about is lathis. What they are talking about is stone pelting, and what they are talking about is niche.
Issues of corruption, issues of unemployment that is at an all-time high in Gujarat. Issues that actually matter to the people. I mean, my good friend, Huda Zariwala, at least the Aam Aadmi Party supporters should not refer to corruption and massage and VVIP treatment, because people will remind you about Satyendra Jain. Aam Aadmi Party is the only party that actually addresses issues that matter to the people, concerns for the people. We are the only party that talks about health, that talks about education, that has spoken about giving employment to the youth of Gujarat, to giving the basic, employment, sort of generating employment for the people. When was the last time BJP actually spoke on these issues?
Dr. Anand Ranganathan,
all this dirty politics.
Is Huda Zariwala right that the Aam Aadmi Party is setting new trends as far as political parties are concerned?
I apologize, Navika. I have to leave now because after listening to Ms. Zariwala, my head is hurting so much. I need a massage, so I'm going to Tihar jail. I need to go to Tihar to get a head massage done.
So basically, issues that concern the people.
No, please, I didn't interrupt you. Ms. Zariwala, I did not interrupt you. I did not interrupt you. So I have two questions for you. Can you please tell me from, let's not even go back to the last Gujarat elections, 2017. Let's go even previous to that. Can you tell me what was the GDP per capita of Gujarat in 2012 and what it is now?
Okay, can you tell me how much employment was there to the people at the time then and at the time now? Can we not?
Questions first have to be met with answers before supplementary questions. No, Huda Zariwala, this is not about one-upmanship. He's asked you a question. You can ask a question after you respond to his question.
Okay, I will respond to that by responding one simple thing to the question asked. This is a party that has been in Gujarat for the past 27 years. I mean, let us not forget that the corruption, the blatant corruption that has happened, the blatant level of unemployment. Have you visited the schools in Gujarat? I have. Have you visited the government hospitals, the Sarkari setup in Gujarat? I have. Just to let you know, my background is from Gujarat. I do happen to belong from one set of my parents in Gujarat. I have seen the issues at hand. I know
2012 we asked you what, the numbers that he was asking you. Can you answer that? Lecture, let's leave to Arvind Kejriwal. You answer to the question.
I'm sorry, madam, but you are making as much sense.
Arvind Kejriwal is only addressing the issues related to the people. All BJP does.
All right. Ms. Zariwala does not have the answer. Anand Ranganathan, over to you. All other faders down.
No, I'm just saying Ms. Zariwala unfortunately is making as much sense as Haryana Urban Development Authority. But I need to tell something which goes to the nub of the issue. And there is a reason why AAP wins, and there is a reason why the BJP wins in Gujarat. Remember, BJP has to battle anti-incumbency. They have to give a report card. AAP wins. If AAP wins, it will be because of the failure of the incumbent. In Punjab, AAP devastated, had a tremendous victory because of the failure of the incumbent. Please understand this. In case of Gujarat, the kind of development the BJP has done over the last 27 years is there for all to see. I mean, Ms. Zariwala, I'm sorry, you cannot overlook that fact. Every parameter that you see, every parameter, economic parameter. You see, for example, inflation has gone down. You look at the infant mortality rate. If you want to look at the health parameter, in water distribution, in water availability, Narmada Dam, development, highways, please, and Mr. Jindal is here. There is a reason why Congress keeps on losing in Gujarat. It is not that there is Hindutva laboratory. I mean, there is only so much you can win on the basis of Hindutva. Ultimately, even the hardcore Hindutva vote bank will demand progress and development. And that is what BJP has been giving. So please, let us not talk about negativity out here. Please point out the positive things that you aim to do in Gujarat after pointing out the negative things that you aim to do or you see that the BJP has done.
Respond, Mr. Lokesh Jindal.
No, the simple thing is the very fact that he says that there is no inflation in Gujarat is erroneous. Now the entire
Did I say this is very unfair.
Bhaiya, theek se sun liya karo. The numbers we gave, it was to 5.5% in 2014-15. It's gone down to 4.9 in 21-22. My friend, he never said there is no inflation.
Did I say there is no inflation?
Listen to me. If he has any knowledge about the grassroots reality of Gujarat, he will understand what has happened to the textile sector.
All right, Lokesh Jindal. So better the BJP's model and win Gujarat. Who is stopping you? Who is stopping you from winning Gujarat, my friend? But calling the Prime Minister Ravan and saying कि ये 100 मुंह इनके दिख रहे हैं कभी MCD में और कभी assembly elections में, is that going to help you win elections?
It's a very important issue that I am discussing. There are more than 676 fishermen who are locked up and imprisoned in the Pakistani jail. BJP is there at the center, BJP is there at the state. Why isn't the issue of these fishermen taken up?
Okay.
Just because they are...
So he is worried about 676 fishermen.
Inflation
every life matters.
Inflation से fishermen and of course Italian sailors जो हुए थे वो तो हमें भूल ही जाना चाहिए, वो तो यही लाए. Well, Nalin Kohli, respond to Mr. Lokesh Jindal.
I'll come with data.
Nalin Kohli.
What is there to respond? What is there to respond? Not a straight answer. Anand Ranganathanji raised a whole series of questions. We've seen the response from the other two. I find it also interesting to note, Navika ji, that the Aam Aadmi Party supporters or unofficial spokespersons tend to come only as political analysts. When they have a point of view, why are they so scared to defend Arvind Kejriwal? Are they worried that tomorrow morning he'll say something exactly opposite to what he said today evening? And by tomorrow evening he'll deny both statements which were recorded on camera. So I mean, is that can only be the reason? I mean, that's all I can believe, because Mr. Kejriwal is known to say something one and something the other day.
Well, the question is...
Now let's come to Lokesh Jindal ji.
Yes.
I want to tell you one thing.
No, I'm completely out of time. The question tonight is only this. Well, campaigning for phase 1 came to an end at 5 p.m. this evening. It is a very, very important election in Gujarat and the stakes are extremely high. But has the Congress given up even without really addressing the fight? Because Mr. Rahul Gandhi has done just 2 as against the Prime Minister's 25 rallies in Gujarat and 2 road shows. The question is, do they have any stakes in politics in this country? And are the stakes only about raising abuses, pointing fingers and somehow trying to degrade the position and the office of the Prime Minister? Personal attacks, will that get them votes? It's a question the Congress needs to ask itself. Let's leave it at that. Thank you very much to my panelists for joining me on debate number 1. On the other side, of course, Kashmir is in the eye of the storm and the Kashmir Files has come up for a huge debate all through the day tonight. It was a jury member at the International Film Festival that raised the issue of Kashmir Files being a vulgar and propaganda film. Well, tonight we have 2 newsmakers back to back, Anupam Kher and Vivek Agnihotri, who respond to the naysayers and the toolkit lobby in India. हमारे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं विवेक अग्निहोत्री, जिन्होंने कश्मीर फाइल्स फिल्म बनाई है। विवेक अग्निहोत्री जी, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। मैं सबसे पहले आपसे पूछना चाहती हूं कि ये जो ब्रिकबैट्स हैं, ये जो लोग कश्मीर फाइल्स को भूल नहीं पा रहे हैं, अब इंटरनेशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल में भी चर्चे तो कश्मीर फाइल्स के ही हैं और एक इजरायली डायरेक्टर जो जूरी के मेंबर भी हैं, इसे वल्गर और प्रोपेगेंडा की फिल्म कह रहे हैं। आपको क्या लगता है, ये स्पॉन्टेनियस कमेंट था या इस पर कोई एजेंडा है?
देखिए, राजनीति में कुछ भी स्पॉन्टेनियस नहीं होता है। पहले तो ये हम एक मंत्र समझ लें। ये आप देखिए कि वेस्ट में कैंपेन चालू हुई है। आपने लेस्टर का इशू देखा होगा, ऑक्सफोर्ड में मुझे कैंसिल किया था, फिर लेस्टर में सारा चालू हुआ, फिर फॉरेन का मीडिया धीरे धीरे ये राइट विंग के अग्रेशन और इंट्रूजन को और उनके एक्सपेंशन को क्वेश्चन करने लगा। नैरेटिव का शिफ्ट हो रहा है, इसको समझने की कोशिश करिए। दूसरा, पिछले कुछ एक वक्त से जब से फिल्में थिएटर में दिखाना चालू हुई हैं, बॉलीवुड की फिल्में लगातार पिट रही हैं और इसको लेके बॉलीवुड के लोग काफी परेशान हैं और उन्होंने एक कैंपेन कश्मीर फाइल्स के खिलाफ चालू की है और ये इंटरनेशनल नेटवर्क है जो अपने बॉलीवुड के फिल्म मेकर्स का और इंटरनेशनल लोगों का। तो ये कई सारी फोर्सेस मिलके एक नैरेटिव क्रिएट करना चाहती हैं कि जो भारत की सरकार है और जो ये राइट विंग है, ये पूरे विश्व में घुस के एक फैशिस्ट तरीके से इस्लामोफोबिया बढ़ा रहा है। ये मैं अभी कल ही अमेरिका से लौट के आया हूं और नाविका जी, आपको देखिए बड़े एक आश्चर्य की बात बताता हूं। मैं किसी को बताया नहीं मैं अमेरिका क्यों गया था। एक्चुअली वहां की एक जो सबसे प्रेस्टिजियस अवार्ड्स होते हैं, उनकी ज्यूरी ने द कश्मीर फाइल्स देखी। कई सारे लोग रोने लगे और उन लोगों ने कहा हमें इस डायरेक्टर से बात करनी ही है, हम जानना चाहते हैं कि ये इतना बड़ा जेनोसाइड इसके पहले हमें क्यों नहीं पता चला। मैं सिर्फ इसलिए वहां पे गया था।
लेकिन आपको हैरानी नहीं हुई कि ऐसे शख्स जूरी में इनवाइटेड है और ये जो इंटरनेशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल भारत में हो रहा है, वहां जैसे आपने कहा सरकार के ही मन से सरकार को एक मैसेज दे रहे थे, आपको सरप्राइजिंग नहीं लगा कि ऐसा हुआ? ताज्जुब नहीं हुआ?
नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं हुआ। मेरी तो फिल्म में डायलॉग है, जो फिल्म का सबसे पॉपुलर डायलॉग क्या है? फिल्म का डायलॉग है जिसमें पल्लवी जोशी का कैरेक्टर बोलता है कि सरकार चाहे किसी की भी हो, सिस्टम तो हमारा है। तो मुझे बिल्कुल भी आश्चर्य नहीं हुआ क्योंकि सिस्टम में अभी भी बहुत सारे ऐसे लोग हैं जो सरकार के ही खिलाफ काम करते हैं। ये जो फिल्म मेकर हैं, ये चाहते हैं कि कश्मीर भारत से आजाद हो जाए। मैं क्यों इस आदमी की बात सुनूं? ये जो भी है, फिल्म मेकर होने का मतलब ये थोड़ी होता है कि आपके पंख लग गए हैं। जो भी आदमी जो मेरे देश के विभाजन की बात करेगा, जो कश्मीर को भारत का इंटीग्रल पार्ट नहीं मानता है, उसको मैं इस देश का दुश्मन मानता हूं।
वही लोग हैं जो कहते हैं कि आपने फिल्म बनाई, लेकिन क्या बदला? कौन सी केस खुल गई? कौन सा एसआईटी का गठन हो गया? कौन से कश्मीरी हिंदू वापस चले गए कश्मीर में? उनका क्या जवाब देंगे आप?
नहीं, ये इनका देखिए, महामूर्खों को कैसे जवाब दिया जा सकता है? कोई आदमी अगर ये कह रहा है क्या बदला, तो हाई कोर्ट्स ने आज यासीन मलिक जेल के पीछे कैसे है? हाई कोर्ट ने 2 केसेस सुओ मोटो कैसे खोले? और इसलिए कि चूंकि कुछ इमीडिएटली नहीं हो रहा है, इसलिए कुछ नहीं किया जाए। यही तो 32 साल से हो रहा था। 32 साल से किसी ने कुछ नहीं बोला कि क्या होगा, कौन करेगा, क्योंकि जो सरकारें थी वो करना नहीं चाहती थी। आज इसके बाद पूरे विश्व, अच्छा अगर समझिए कुछ नहीं बदला, ये फिल्म एक प्रोपेगेंडा है, तो इसके बारे में बात ही क्यों हो रही है? इसके बारे में बात क्यों हो रही है? मेरे को क्यों मुझे सिक्योरिटी के साथ घूमना पड़ता है? क्यों मेरे नाम पे फतवे इशू हो रहे हैं? क्यों कांग्रेस के लोग छटपटा रहे हैं बुरी तरह से कि ये फिल्म की जिक्र कहीं ना हो? क्यों विधानसभा में खड़े होकर केजरीवाल एक लोगों की पीड़ा और दर्द को झूठी कहानी बोल रहा है, जो गिरजा टिक्कू के गैंगरेप को झूठी कहानी बोल रहा है? इन लोगों का जवाब कैसे दिया जा सकता है? इसीलिए मैं इनको अर्बन नक्सल्स बोलता हूं।
विवेक अग्निहोत्री, आप भी इंसान हैं, कहीं ना कहीं अंदर गुस्से के साथ दर्द भी होता होगा। ये जब वल्गर और प्रोपेगेंडा शब्द आपने सुने अपनी फिल्म के लिए, आपको कुछ दर्द हुआ, कुछ हर्ट महसूस हुआ?
नहीं, मुझे बहुत पीड़ा हुई और बड़ा आश्चर्य हुआ। मुझे आश्चर्य इस बात का हुआ कि देखिए, ज्यूरी का कोई भी, मैं भी ज्यूरीज में रहा हूं, फिल्मों की भी और देश की। भारत में, मुझे विश्व की तो छोड़िए, सारी दुनिया में एक ही नियम है, पर भारत में तो कम से कम जब कोई ज्यूरी का मेंबर बनता है, उसे भारत सरकार के साथ एक बॉन्ड साइन करना पड़ता है कि वो अपने व्यक्तिगत विचार उस फिल्म को लेकर कभी व्यक्त नहीं करेगा, चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए। वो अपनी ओपिनियन नहीं बता सकता है। लेकिन इन्होंने भारत सरकार के मंच पे खड़े होकर मंत्रियों के सामने ये बात बोली। ये एक बड़ा पीड़ा का विषय है कि उसका मिसयूज किया गया, एक क्रिएटिव मंच का अपने पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा को फॉरवर्ड करने के लिए इसका इस्तेमाल किया गया। ये एक बड़े दुख की बात है। दूसरी एक दुख की बात यह है कि कैसा देश हो गया है हमारा। क्या फर्क पड़ता है इससे कि जो मरने वाले लोग थे वो किस जाति या किस धर्म के थे? कौन से सेकुलरिज्म की हम लोग 70 साल से डंका पीटते आए हैं? जो मरने वाले थे वो भारतीय थे, वो कश्मीर में थे, हिंदू थे, ये अलग बात है। आज 30 साल से वो अपने घर पे नहीं रह सकते हैं। 30 साल से सारी दुनिया में बिखरे हुए लोग हैं। उनके दर्द और पीड़ा की बात करने को ये आदमी आके इजराइल से बोलता है ये वल्गर है। वल्गर शब्द यानी किस सोच से, और कौन वो व्यक्ति जो सामने बैठ के इसको सुन रहा है? मेरे को इस बात से पीड़ा है कि कौन सा वो भारत मां का लाल है जो बैठ के वहां इस बात को सुन रहा है और उसकी कोई प्रतिक्रिया भी नहीं है इस बात को लेके। क्या वो ये कहना चाहता है, क्या इस बात का समर्थन करना चाहता है? जो भी व्यक्ति है, चाहे वो फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के लोग थे, चाहे सरकार के बाबू लोग थे, चाहे मंत्री लोग थे, चाहे ज्यूरी के वो लोग थे जिन्होंने बाद में अपना स्टेटमेंट दिया, मैं भी उन ज्यूरी के लोगों से पूछना चाहता हूं, उन्होंने बाद में क्यों बोला कि हम समर्थन नहीं करते इस बात का, जबकि वहां बैठे हुए थे मंच के ऊपर? उन्होंने क्यों नहीं खड़े होकर बोला ये आदमी झूठ बोल रहा है? इसलिए क्योंकि हर आदमी फतवे से डरता है नाविका जी। आज हर आदमी फतवे से डरता है, राइट। आज मेरी सबसे बड़ी समस्या यह है कि मैं फतवों से नहीं डरता हूं, मैं खुल के बोलता हूं। इसलिए जब मन आता है किसी का, कोई भी धमकी दे देता है, लेकिन अगर मैं भी चुप हो जाऊंगा तो आइंदा कोई बोलेगा नहीं, ये बोलने ही नहीं देंगे।
बहुत बड़ी बात कह रहे हैं आप विवेक अग्निहोत्री जी के ऑडियंस में, भरे हॉल में किसी ने उफ तक नहीं की, किसी ने कॉन्ट्रडिक्ट नहीं किया। और ये जो महानुभाव हैं मिस्टर लैपिड, इन्होंने शुरू में ही कहा ऑल ऑफ अस इन द जूरी, यानी कि ऑल ऑफ अस इन द जूरी, इन्होंने सबका राइट इख्तियार करके खुद बोल दिया और किसी ने चूं तक नहीं की।
नहीं, ये सफेद झूठ है। और भारत सरकार को ये एक, देखिए, ये जो ज्यूरीज हैं, एनएफडीसी है या सीबीएफसी है, ये सारी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडीज हैं। मैं सीधे सीधे संवैधानिक बात करता हूं। ये सारी कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल बॉडीज हैं। जब आप ज्यूरी में बैठते हैं तो आप एक बॉन्ड साइन करते हैं भारत सरकार के साथ कि आप कोई भी स्टेटमेंट ऐसा नहीं देंगे जो व्यक्तिगत है या जिससे भारत सरकार की या फेस्टिवल की छवि खराब होती है। आपने भारत सरकार की अखंडता के ऊपर सवाल उठा दिया। आपने बोला ये कश्मीर जेनोसाइड कभी हुआ ही नहीं और ये एक अश्लील बात है। यानी कोई ऐसा मां का बेटा नहीं था जो ये बोलता कि जब गिरजा टिक्कू जी को तुम गैंगरेप करके जिंदा काट रहे थे, उससे अश्लील दुनिया में कुछ नहीं हो सकता है। जब तुमने औरतों के स्तन काट दिए वहां पे, क्या वो अश्लील नहीं था? यानी मैं क्या बोलूं अब, कि कुछ भी बोलो आप, तो हर चीज को लोग हिंदू मुस्लिम करने लगते हैं, इंटरनेशनल पॉलिटिक्स आ जाती है। लेकिन सफर तो भारत ही कर रहा है।
जैसे ही ये स्टेटमेंट आया, पूरा एक इकोसिस्टम जो है वो बिल्कुल सक्रिय हो गया, लेकिन वहां पर खड़े होके किसी ने ऑब्जेक्ट नहीं किया। ये चौंकाने वाली बात है कि 130 करोड़ लोगों के देश में किसी ने खंडन नहीं किया, उस वक्त किसी ने कुछ बोला नहीं, और इकोसिस्टम मानो जैसे लपक कर इस अपॉर्चुनिटी को पकड़कर खड़ा हो गया। लेकिन मैं विवेक अग्निहोत्री जी, एक आपसे बात पूछना चाहती हूं। ऑस्कर की दौड़ में जब फिल्म को जाना था तब ऐसे कमेंट्स आए। आपने कहा आप किसी अवार्ड के जूरी को मिलने गए। ये कौन सा अवार्ड फंक्शन था और क्या कोई कनेक्शन है इस स्टेटमेंट का उस बात से कि आपकी फिल्म फिर अमेरिका में एक अवार्ड के लिए कंसिडर हो रही है?
मैं बोल नहीं सकता हूं क्योंकि वो कॉन्फिडेंशियल है, लेकिन हां, अगर दुनिया में 2 सबसे बड़े अवार्ड्स हैं तो उनमें से एक अवार्ड के लिए डेफिनेटली। और पॉलिटिक्स में हर चीज एक दूसरे से जुड़ी होती है, कोई चीज ऐसी नहीं जिसका तार दूसरे से नहीं जुड़ा होता है। जो कल हुआ है वो एक पूरी तरह से प्री प्लान स्ट्रैटेजी थी, वो एक कागज से पढ़ के जो बोला गया था वो प्री प्लान स्ट्रैटेजी थी। इसीलिए इजराइल के एम्बेसडर ने बोला है कि इससे शर्मजनक कोई बात नहीं हो सकती है। इसीलिए जो काउंसिल जनरल है यहां बॉम्बे में, कोबी जी, उन्होंने सारी चैनल्स में जा जा के बोला है कि इजराइल ये हमारे लिए बड़ी शर्मजनक बात है और ये गलत है। उन्होंने कश्मीर फाइल्स का बल्कि एक वीडियो प्रमोट किया है कि मैं इस फिल्म को देख के कितना रोया था और ये कितनी एक सत्य कथा है। ये जो हुआ है ये मैं आज बोल रहा हूं, ये पत्रकारों का काम है इन्वेस्टिगेट करना। ये 2024 का इलेक्शंस का बिगुल बजाया गया है, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है।
आपके पास ऐसा क्या सुराग है जिससे आप इतने कन्विंस्ड हैं?
अब कुछ तो होगा, इसलिए तो सब मेरे पीछे पड़े हैं नाविका जी। कुछ तो हमारा भी, कुछ तो दमखम हम भी रखते हैं।
विवेक अग्निहोत्री जी, ना तो ये पहली बात थी कश्मीर फाइल्स पे, ना ही ये आखिरी होगी। उम्मीद करती हूं कि कम से कम जितने कांटे हैं आपकी राहों में, उससे ज्यादा फूल भगवान बरसाए कश्मीरी हिंदुओं की राहों में जब वो अपने घर वापस कश्मीर में लौटे, और कम से कम इस देश में हम सब सर उठा के कह सकें कि ना हम डरे ना हम पीछे हटे, बस हम चलते रहे। आपकी कॉन्फिडेंस को और आपकी इस निडर शैली को सलाम। थैंक यू फॉर ज्वाइनिंग। अनुपम खेर जी, हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए आपका धन्यवाद। मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूं कि एट द इंटरनेशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल ऑफ इंडिया इस बार जो फिल्म के बारे में कहा गया बाय अ जूरी मेंबर ऑफ द इंटरनेशनल फिल्म जूरी, इसको आप कैसे देखते हैं? ये जो शब्द कहे गए कि ये वल्गर फिल्म है, प्रोपेगेंडा की फिल्म है, इसे आप कैसे देखते हैं?
मेरे ख्याल से नाविका एक वल्गर इंसान ही इस तरह की वल्गर स्टेटमेंट दे सकता है एक अच्छी खूबसूरत फिल्म के लिए, जो मानवीय फिल्म है, जो एक त्रासदी की फिल्म है, जो एक ट्रेजेडी की फिल्म है, जो एक्सोडस की फिल्म है, और वो भी उस देश के इंसान से जिसने हॉलोकॉस्ट जिनकी कंट्री ने देखा है, जो इस तरह के टेररिज्म के विक्टिम रह चुके हैं। तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि ये कितने बड़े फिल्म मेकर हों या कितनी बड़ी जूरी के मेंबर हों या चेयरमैन हो, जो स्टेटमेंट उन्होंने दिया है वो उनको एक बहुत ही तुच्छ और छोटा इंसान दर्शाती है। क्योंकि और उससे बड़ी ट्रेजेडी है कि हमारा ये फिल्म फेस्टिवल जो है बहुत अच्छे पैमाने पर हुआ। मैं वहाँ पर 2 दिन गया था और इसका अंत ऐसा होगा, ये बड़ी दुखी होने वाली बात है। बिकॉज मुझे लगता है कि उनका एजेंडा ये था कि उनको ये बात बोलनी थी। उनके खास किस्म के कुछ उनके दोस्त होंगे जिन्होंने उनको कहा होगा आप ये बात कहो, और बिकॉज और तो कोई मकसद नहीं था। अगर उनको फिल्म पसंद नहीं आई है, उनका पूरा अधिकार है कि बोले कि मुझे फिल्म पसंद नहीं आई है, मगर टू कॉल इट वल्गर प्रोपेगेंडा फिल्म, that I think he certainly has an agenda rather than anything else, and I think this agenda has worked for him because his toolkit gang are happy। जिस त्रासदी को 32 सालों तक छुपाया गया, जिसके बारे में ये कॉन्ट्रोवर्सी होती रही कि 16 लोग मरे या 400 लोग मरे या 2000 लोग मरे या केवल इतने ही गए, पर 5 लाख लोग 19 जनवरी 1990 को निकाले गए थे। 32 साल बाद उनके जख्मों पर थोड़ा सा मलहम लगने की कोशिश हुई थी और ये बार बार उसको उजागर करते रहते हैं। तो ऑब्वियसली इनको कहीं ना कहीं तो कश्मीर फाइल्स ने चोट पहुंचाई है, इनके मुद्दे को, इनके मकसद को, इनके एजेंडा को।
क्या आपको जरा सा भी सरप्राइज हुआ कि ये जो हमारे नेशनल टूल किट जिसकी आप बात कर रहे हैं वो सारे यूजुअल सस्पेक्ट्स कूद गए इस पूरी कंट्रोवर्सी में और उन्होंने बस वही कहना शुरू कर दिया कि ये तो बीजेपी का है और अब सच बाहर आ रहा है, चाहे वो कांग्रेस हो, चाहे वो पीडीपी हो, चाहे वो एक बॉलीवुड के अंदर एक खास लॉबी है स्वरा भास्कर और ऐसे लोगों की, ये सारे जिनको इतने महीनों के बाद एक शायद मौका मिला, आप जरा भी इससे अचंभित हुए कि ये सब कूद गए?
बिल्कुल भी नहीं, बिल्कुल भी नहीं। भारत में भी जब भी कोई अच्छी बात होती है, ये वही लोग हैं जो आर्टिकल 370 पर निकले थे, ये वही लोग हैं जो ट्रिपल तलाक के वक्त निकले थे, ये वही लोग हैं जब बालाकोट पर अटैक हुआ था उस पर निकले थे, ये वही लोग हैं जब सीए पर निकले थे। तो ये यूजुअल सस्पेक्ट अभी यूजुअल रहे नहीं, ये तो बड़े अनयूजुअल से सस्पेक्ट हो गए हैं जो अपनी अपनी बिलों से निकल कर आते हैं और सेलिब्रेट करते हैं। ये कैरिकेचर्स हैं, दे आर कैरिकेचर्स एंड आई फील सैड फॉर देम। टुडे इटसेल्फ जो काउंसिल जनरल है यहाँ के कोवे सोशानी, वो मुझे आज सुबह उन्होंने फ़ोन किया कि मैं आपसे माफ़ी मांगना चाहता हूँ और आपके स्कूल में आकर माफ़ी मांगना चाहता हूँ। तो नॉट दैट ही हैड टू डू दैट, आई सेड कोई ज़रूरत नहीं, आपने फ़ोन पे बोल दिया। और मुझसे कहते नहीं, आप यू आर द फेस ऑफ द फिल्म एंड यू हैव फैमिलीज हु हैव बीन अफेक्टेड बाय दिस एक्ट ऑफ टेररिज्म। तो ये शर्मिंदा करने वाली थी, एक हिसाब से एम्बैरेस करने की कोशिश थी मंच पर, मगर ये भूल जाते हैं कि इससे देश के कुछ लोग और बहुत सारे लोग और जुड़ते हैं और इकट्ठा होते हैं और इनके सामने इनको बताना चाहते हैं कि हम कितने सब एक साथ हैं, एकत्रित हैं।
लेकिन अनुपम खेर जी, लैपिड जो फिल्म जूरी मेंबर थे, इजरायली हैं और वहाँ जो जूस के साथ हुआ वो कई फिल्मों में दर्शाया गया, चाहे वो शिंडलर्स लिस्ट हो, पियानिस्ट हो, लाइफ इज ब्यूटीफुल हो, परसिक्यूशन ऑफ जूस पर कई फिल्में बनी हैं। आप सरप्राइज हुए कि एक इजरायली ने ऐसा कहा और इजरायली ने जो कहा कौंसल जनरल सोशानी साहब उसका ऑपोजिट कह रहे हैं। क्या ये मिटिगेट करता है या उनका स्टेटमेंट अपनी जगह है जो फिल्म जूरी के मेंबर है?
मैंने कहा ना, हर जगह घटिया लोग होते हैं, जो घटिया प्रवृत्ति के लोग होते हैं, घटिया मेंटालिटी के लोग होते हैं, वो हर जगह होते हैं। शिंडलर्स लिस्ट को बहुत ही मार्मिक और बहुत ही सेंसिटिव फिल्म बताया जाता है क्योंकि वो हॉलोकॉस्ट के बारे में थे। तो अगर आप उसकी तारीफ करते हैं या उसकी सराहना करते हैं या कहते हैं कि आई आइडेंटिफाई विद दैट, आई आइडेंटिफाई विद लाइफ इज ब्यूटीफुल, दोनों फिल्मों को ऑस्कर मिलता है, या तो क्या कश्मीरी हिंदुओं के जेनोसाइड की ट्रेजेडी पर जो फिल्म बनी उसको उसकी सेंसिटिविटी को लोगों में को ध्यान में रखा? ये डबल स्टैंडर्ड्स हैं, ये दोगले किस्म के लोग हैं नाविका। दोगले किस्म लोगों का कोई दीन और ईमान नहीं होता है।
जो मूल मुद्दा वो ये है कि ये कहीं और हुआ होता तो शायद समझ आता, लेकिन ये भारत की धरती पर और इंटरनेशनल फिल्म फेस्टिवल ऑफ इंडिया में इस तरह का बयान हुआ। क्या चयन पर हमें दोबारा सोचना चाहिए, हम कैसे चयन करते हैं जूरी का, या आपको लगता है इट्स अ फ्लूक दैट हैपेंड एंड
नो, आई थिंक नहीं, आई थिंक दैट इज व्हाट मेक्स दिस कंट्री द ग्रेटेस्ट कंट्री। ये डेमोक्रेसी में ही ऐसा हो सकता है कि हम क्यों चयन करें कि इसको चुनना है। हम चयन करेंगे कि हमको ये सोच के कि इस इंसान को इतनी सेंसिटिविटी होगी, इतना सिनेमा के बारे में जानता होगा कि ये ऐसा नहीं है। ये तो वही हुई बात कि आप किसी को घर पे बुलाएं और वो खाना वाना खिलाएं और वो बाहर जाके या आपके घर वालों के सामने बोलें कि खाना ठीक नहीं था, किचन साफ नहीं था। उतनी तो लज्जा किसी में होती है। चयन ठीक नहीं था, क्यों नहीं था, ये क्यों हम हो सकता है एक पहलू में मैं कहता हूं, बट उसके लिए आई डोंट थिंक वी शुड थिंक ऑफ दैट। आई थिंक इट्स अ मैग्नानिमिटी ऑफ द ऑर्गेनाइजर दैट दे डिड नॉट गो बैक बाय, बिकॉज आई एम श्योर दे आर टेकन बाय शॉक, बिकॉज उन्होंने कभी सोचा भी नहीं होगा कि इतना एहसान फरामोश कोई हो सकता है, इतना घटिया कोई इंसान हो सकता है, तो कसूरवार उनको क्यों ठहराएं? वो इंसान जो है वो गलत है, उस इंसान की सोच छोटी है, उस इंसान की सोच दोगली है। हम अपने लोगों पर क्यों कसूरवार ठहराएं हम?
लेकिन अनुपम खेर जी, कुछ लोगों का कहना है कि गवर्नमेंट ने अब तक कोई एसआईटी नहीं बनाई, कश्मीरी हिंदूज के रिहैबिलिटेशन का अब तक समय तय नहीं है, उन्हें जस्टिस आज भी नहीं मिला है। इस पर आप क्या कहेंगे?
See, there is no end to a conversation. This, I think, the Article 370. Let's not undermine that. उसका जो abrogation हुआ है वो बहुत बड़ी बात है. It takes a little time. उजाड़ने में टाइम नहीं लगता, बसाने में टाइम लगता है। एक घर को जिसको बनाने में आपने 6 महीने, 8 महीने, 10 महीने, 1 साल, 2 साल लगाए, उसको 1-2 सेकंड के अंदर भस्म किया जा सकता है, लेकिन बनाने में टाइम लगता है।
कहीं ना कहीं दिल पे चोट तो लगी होगी, कहीं ना कहीं कुछ दर्द तो हुआ होगा, लेकिन अनुपम खेर जी,
ऑफ कोर्स आई एम वेरी एंग्री
और हर्ट,
वेरी हर्ट, आई एम वेरी एंग्री, बट आई विल कंटिन्यू both, but I will continue all my life to raise voice on behalf of millions of Kashmiri Hindus and the people of India. I am an Indian and India जो है मेरे दिल में बसता है। उनके बारे में जब जब कोई बात होगी मैं आवाज उठाऊंगा। यही तो ताकत है कि सच की आवाज को आप मध्यम नहीं कर सकते हैं, धीमा नहीं कर सकते हैं।
और करोड़ों हिंदुस्तानी आपके साथ हैं, सुर से सुर मिलाकर आपके साथ खड़े होंगे और लड़ते रहेंगे ऐसी सोच के खिलाफ, ऐसे शब्दों के खिलाफ।
थैंक यू
अनुपम खेर जी, हमारे साथ बात करने के लिए थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर ज्वाइनिंग।
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी में अभी भी कहना चाहता हूं देश की जनता को कि यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड लाने के लिए अड़ीग है, अफर है और हम लाकर रहेंगे। देखिए, यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड निश्चित रूप से भारतीय जनसंघ से लेकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी की हमारी यात्रा का, आज तक की हमारी राजनीतिक यात्रा का एक वादा रहा है देश की जनता से। और न केवल भारतीय जनता पार्टी, संविधान सभा ने भी देश भर के विधानमंडलों को और संसद को ये सलाह दी है कि जब भी उचित समय आए यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड इस देश में आना चाहिए, क्योंकि किसी भी पंथ निरपेक्ष राष्ट्र के लिए, राज्य के लिए धर्म के आधार पर कानून नहीं होने चाहिए। अगर राष्ट्र और राज्य पंथ निरपेक्ष है तो धर्म के आधार पर कानून कैसे हो सकते हैं? हर धर्म के मानने वाले के लिए एक कानून होना चाहिए जो देश के विधानमंडल और देश की संसद पारित करे। परंतु ओवर ए पीरियड ऑफ टाइम सबने संविधान सभा के एक कमिटमेंट को भुला दिया। भारतीय जनता पार्टी के अलावे आज कोई पार्टी यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड के पक्ष में नहीं है, ना बोलते हैं। हाँ, हिम्मत कम होगी तो विरोध नहीं करेंगे, मगर ये नहीं कहेंगे कि हाँ लागू करिए, हम आपके साथ खड़े। हम लोकतंत्र के अंदर है, लोकतंत्र के अंदर एक स्वस्थ बहस जरूरी है। जब इतने सारे राजनीतिक दल का एक अभिप्राय हो और मेरे राजनीतिक दल का दूसरा अभिप्राय हो, मनसा चाहे कोई भी हो, वोट प्राप्त करने की हो या जो हो, अगर उनका एक अभिप्राय है कि यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड अभी नहीं लाना चाहिए, तो इस पर एक स्वस्थ और खुली बहस की जरूरत है। तो भारतीय जनता पार्टी ने जहां जहां भारतीय जनता पार्टी का शासन है वहां 3 राज्यों में अब तक, हिमाचल, उत्तराखंड और गुजरात में, हमने एक पैनल बनाया है और पैनल सुप्रीम कोर्ट के रिटायर्ड जज और हाई कोर्ट के रिटायर्ड चीफ जस्टिस की अध्यक्षता में बनाए हैं। और सारे दल, समाज जीवन के सारे लोग, और सभी धर्म संप्रदाय के लोग उनके सामने अपना अपना पक्ष रख रहे हैं। उस पर जो एडवाइस आएगी इसके आधार पर हम काम करेंगे और स्वाभाविक रूप से इस प्रकार के शिखर सम्मेलन और इंटरव्यू में भी इस पर एक स्वस्थ बहस छिड़ी हुई है, तो देश की जनता को भी मन बनाने में इससे बहुत बड़ा मदद मिलता है। भारतीय जनता पार्टी मैं अभी भी कहना चाहता हूं देश की जनता को कि यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड लाने के लिए अड़िग है, ऑफर है और हम लाकर रहेंगे, परंतु सारी लोकतांत्रिक चर्चाओं की समाप्ति के बाद।
So Justice Lalit,
You're watching the News Hour at 9.
AIIMS servers remained down for the 7th day. A team of NIA visited the hospital to carry investigations into the ransomware attack. NIA has declared this a clear case of cyber terrorism. NHRC takes cognizance of the firing by the Assam armed forces in Meghalaya killing 6 people, asks the union government for measures to prevent such incidents in areas of border disputes between neighbouring states. After MLA and PSP chief Shivpal Yadav's security was downgraded from Z to Y category, he slammed BJP and said that now BJP's loss in UP will be even bigger.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
Mr. Salve, we are talking about transparency. Do you believe the government too needs to be transparent? For instance, if it chooses to return a file to the Supreme Court, collegium of a judge who has been nominated or cleared for appointment, should the public also not know why the file is being returned? To take this a step further, should the IB report and the background checks, etc. made public? Should it work the other way also?
This whole process, quite frankly, and if I may not mince my words, this whole process has become pretty hopeless. I'm sorry to say so. Today, the IB gives a report. Today you ask a person to become a judge. You ask the IB to report. The IB reports partly gossip. Do you want that to come in public domain? I don't want my personal life to come in public domain. I may not even want to be a judge. So this whole process, this whole system is incompatible with transparency. Let me tell you 3 reasons. First of all, and this
and welcome. You're watching the News Hour Agenda. I'm Padmaja Joshi. What a day it has been, and who would have thought that we would see a day when a section of Indians would be happy, practically jubilant at India being embarrassed internationally. But it happened, and such are the times that we live in. It all started when IFFI's jury head for the international competition section in the Goa festival, Nadav Lapid, tore into the Kashmir Files on the closing day of the 9-day event. He called the film propaganda, vulgar, and inappropriate for an artistic competitive section of a prestigious film festival. Right at the outset, first listen in to what Mr. Lapid has said, which has kicked off such a firestorm.
All of us disturbed and shocked by the 15th film, by the movie Kashmir Files, that felt to us like a propaganda, vulgar movie, inappropriate for an artistic competitive section of such a prestigious film festival. I feel totally comfortable to share openly these feelings here with you on stage, since the spirit that we felt in the festival can surely accept also a critical discussion, which is essential for art and for life.
Soon after, there was almost a celebration in India based on what Mr. Lapid had said. Many exulted, saying, wow, India stands exposed and embarrassed because of what an Israeli filmmaker has said. And all of this has happened on a government platform, a government-organized film festival, no less. This one comment, we were told, was enough proof that Kashmir Files was nothing more than a propaganda project of the Modi government, and that they have been called out on their own events platform.
Even when IFFI jury co-members, filmmakers, Israeli diplomats publicly decried and denied the claims that had been made by Lapid, the cheerleaders were not to be satisfied. Their sole consolation and entire argument was, India has been shown its place. What a great day.
तो ये जो बात है कश्मीर फाइल्स के बारे में, ये सच है। अगर कोई ये ने कहा होगा, मैं तो अभी इतना ही देखता हूँ कि जिस तरह से प्रोपेगेंडा हुआ था एक पार्टी का और एक पार्टी के खिलाफ, उसके लिए फिल्म बनाई थी, और एक पूरी पार्टी, पूरी सरकार, जहाँ जहाँ बीजेपी की सरकार है, वो उस प्रचार में लगा। लेकिन ये सिनेमा आने के बाद कश्मीर में सबसे ज्यादा किलिंग्स हुई है।
जब ये कश्मीरी फाइल फिल्म को सरकार के निगरानी में बना के उसको दिखाया, इसका फिल्म को प्रमोशन करने के लिए हमारे कंट्री के होम मिनिस्टर और प्राइम मिनिस्टर खुद लग गए थे। अब शर्मिंदा कर दिया। अब ये आरएसएस वाले, विश्व हिंदू परिषद वाले या बीजेपी वाले, पता नहीं इनको क्या हो गया, हमारे फिल्म इंडस्ट्री को भी बर्बाद कर दिया।
कश्मीरी फाइल जो है निहायत ही बेहुदा, वाहियात और इरेशनल मूवी। जैसे जर्मनी की नाजी जर्मनी में के ज़माने में एक प्रोपेगेंडा मंत्रालय हुआ करता था जो हिटलर के बारे में प्रोपेगेंडा करते थे, ये उसी तरह का भारत में एक नया चलन है जिसका पार्ट है कश्मीरी फाइल फिल्म।
However, once the dust had settled and Lapid was called out by his own countrymen as someone who made the comment purely as political propaganda and misused India's hospitality, actor Anupam Kher actually made a startling suggestion. Speaking to Times Now, he said that what Lapid had said wasn't off the cuff, that it wasn't something that happened in the heat of the moment. He said that all of this was planned and orchestrated in order to embarrass India at the behest of a few.
His toolkit gang are happy. Before he could finish the statement, already उस गैंग के लोगों ने सेलिब्रेट करना शुरू कर दिया था कि देखो हमने कैसे इस आदमी का पूरा इस्तेमाल किया है। तो ऑब्वियसली इनको कहीं ना कहीं तो कश्मीर फाइल्स ने चोट पहुंचाई है, इनके मुद्दे को, इनके मकसद को, इनके एजेंडा को। कहीं ना कहीं इनको ये धक्का लगा है कि हमारा जो हमारी जो पृष्ठभूमि हम बना रहे थे, जो हमारा नैरेटिव था, वो खंडित हो रहा है कश्मीर फाइल्स फिल्म की सक्सेस से। दे हैव द एजेंडा, their agenda is vulgar, their agenda has full of propaganda, because that's what this is the perspective they want to show to the world. उनकी फितरत में कहीं ना कहीं एक ऐसी प्रवृत्ति है। कैन यू इमेजिन वो अपने साथ कैसे जीते होंगे? ये मेरे को तो 1-1.5 साल तक ये टूल किट गैंग का पता ही नहीं था। इंस्टेड ऑफ सेलिब्रेटिंग सिनेमा एंड द जीनियस ऑफ, मैं भूल जाता हूं चलो कि विवेक अग्निहोत्री ने कमाल की फिल्म बनाई है, बट जिस मुद्दे पे बनाई है उसको तो कम से कम उसके प्रति तो थोड़ा सा सेंसिटिविटी दिखाएं। ठीक है, ऐसे भी लोग जीते हैं, बट हमारे लकीली देयर आर सो मेनी पीपल who have also lashed out at this person. Look at the support that we have got on social media. ये भूल जाते हैं कि इससे देश के कुछ लोग और बहुत सारे लोग और जुड़ते हैं और इकट्ठा होते हैं और इनके सामने इनको बताना चाहते हैं कि हम कितने सब एक साथ हैं, एकत्रित हैं।
So here's the thing, this isn't about the merits of Kashmir Files or otherwise. Its performance in the box office is enough of a statement. People want to watch it, whether for its content or about its issue. It's entirely their choice, and anyway in our country we are told if you don't like it, don't watch it. What I really want to talk about today is what prompts anyone to celebrate the embarrassment to one's own country. Why would people in India take the word of one man, one Israeli filmmaker, over that of Israel's official diplomats? They don't believe it's government. They will say, no, this filmmaker is the real truth speaker. Why can Israeli diplomats who we've spoken to through the day, past and present, actually see Nadav Lapid's statement for what it is? His own agenda-driven propaganda, but our own countrymen can't see through it. Or is it that they can actually see everything, but they'd rather gloat at the embarrassment that India has been caused, because that's what their politics has been reduced to.
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining us on the debate, Rishi Bagri, political analyst, Tushar Gupta, senior editor of Swaraj, Anirban Banerjee and Vivek Srivastav, also both political analysts. But my first question is to Qamar Zaman Chaudhary, leader of the Congress. Sir, can you explain to me why was everyone so happy? It is like we had another Diwali.
Good to have a 365 days Diwali. You know something, Padmaja? We Indians, myself, you call me an ecosystem, a tukre gang or what not.
I didn't call you anything. I literally didn't use any of the words, sir. Please don't self-victimize. I didn't say ecosystem.
Anyhow,
I didn't say tukre gang. ये जबरदस्ती का victim card क्यों खेल रहे हैं?
No,
I introduced you as a congressman, and that's what you are.
Okay, let me finish, please. But ultimately, you know, it needed an Israeli to call out the state-sponsored propaganda, leaving, you know, many of the propagandists frothing at the mouth. The Israeli jury, did he ever mention that he denies the genocide or the killing of innocent Pandits that happened in Kashmir Valley in the 90s? He never did this.
Sir, I'm asking,
in
okay,
fact,
so you're saying he's basically calling out propaganda. So you're saying that Mr. Lapid is a truth teller. You believe everything that Mr. Lapid says, correct?
No, I never said that. I never said that.
Okay.
I never said that. Here there is an ulterior motive that has come out the last 2 days. You know, you need to understand. The Hindutva forces of India, the Zionist forces of Israel, they are coming out together in defending a film. The film, the Kashmir Files, is not representative.
I'm sorry, are you calling the government of Israel a Zionist force?
In the first case. Yes, of course it is. Our stated policy was that. We never had a pact all along.
I'm sorry, are you saying that as a congressman,
now suddenly
you are saying that the government of Israel is Zionist? And by the way, since you are saying that he is calling out Israel and India for what it is, let me quote to you the views of Mr. Lapid from an interview that he has given to Now magazine in 2019. He says, the deepest essence of Israeli existence is false and rotten. Israeli men, muscular, smiling, don't raise any questions. They are extremely proud of being Israeli. Total dichotomist vision of existence, us versus others. Are you saying that as a member of Congress you believe that the deepest essence of Israeli existence is false and rotten?
Can the Palestinians get their motherland?
I'm asking you. You are saying that आप इत्तेफाक रखते हैं with everything Mr. Lapid says. Do you as an individual and a congressman believe that the very existence of Israel is rotten?
I never said that. Don't try to generalize what I am going to say or what I have said out here. I said the Hindutva ecosystem of India and the Zionist ecosystem of Israel
with the Hindutva ecosystem. Today all of us are sitting here and pegging our country's existence and evaluating our country on the words of one man, Mr. Lapid. I want you to answer if you agree with Mr. Lapid's analysis of Kashmir Files and of India. Do you also agree with this analysis of Israel as rotten to the core?
His analysis on the Kashmir Files is the only point that I agree on.
Why?
Kashmir Files,
you will agree with what he says about Kashmir Files, but why won't you agree with what he says about Israel?
Yes.
Because it suits
I'm not his spokesperson.
Because it suits Mr. Chaudhary.
Because it suits you. So you are like,
it doesn't suit me.
आदमी गाली दे रहा है इंडिया को, great.
The point out
must be right.
No.
Mr. Lapid must be believed because he is abusing India and he is embarrassing India. So great.
No, the gut-wrenching story of the Kashmiri Pandits out here is felt by 135 crores Indians.
Mr. Chaudhary,
but how come
Mr.
one
Chaudhary,
film
Mr.
being
Chaudhary.
criticized is
Sir,
being
I have said at the outset, this is not about the merits of the film. In our country, luckily, we are still allowed a culture where we are told कि आपको नहीं पसंद आ रही है, आप मत देखिए. We said the same thing for Padmavat, and we say the same thing for Kashmir Files. I may not like Padmavat, I may not like Kashmir Files, but in India, the viewer will decide. However, I am asking you, why would you believe Mr. Lapid's analysis of the film being vulgar, propaganda and unsuitable? Why? Why would you believe that?
Because such a film has got repercussions deep into, attached with our emotions. As Indians, every Indian feels for it. But this film should be based on extreme human tragedy. Ideally should have led to reconciliation and reflection. But it did not. What did it result in? Anti-Islamophobic slogans being shouted in cinema halls. That's what happened after the screening of the film.
Absolutely.
It led to more.
Because after the writing of Anne Frank's diary, there were apparently anti-Semitic, everything that is anti-Semitic in the world right now must be blamed on why Anne Frank's diary was published, why the pianist was made, why was Schindler's List made, why was the boy in blue pajamas made. So if anything anti-Semitic happens in this world now, it is like Schindler's List क्यों बनाई, अब तो तुम्हें गाली पड़ेगी. तुषार गुप्ता.
Padmaja, the problem with people like Mr. Chaudhary is they will acknowledge the gut-wrenching, what he just said, gut-wrenching pain of the Kashmiri Pandits. He says 135 crore people felt it. But people like Mr. Chaudhary are hypocrites. They will sit here, acknowledge the pain of the Kashmiri Pandits, but the moment someone makes a film about it, the moment someone wants to tell a story 30 years later, which reaches the critical audience, which reaches global audience, they'll have a problem because suddenly the truth is in their open. Their minority-based politics is out as the open and they do not want it. ये एक पूरी toolkit है. वल्गर प्रोपेगेंडा तो दो शब्द थे, ये पूरी एक टूलकिट है जो पूरा इकोसिस्टम एक्टिवेट हुआ है कि यार हम इस मूवी को डाउनप्ले करें. और डाउनप्ले क्यों करें? क्योंकि इस मूवी में सच्चाई है, क्योंकि इस मूवी को देखकर thousands of Kashmiri Pandits, lakhs of Kashmiri Pandits actually made it to the social media, conveyed how they felt about the movie watching it, conveyed how their families were butchered. Some of them were pushed out of the valley in the 1990s. So Mr. Chaudhary, would you say that the Kashmiri Pandits who sobbed, who cried upon seeing the movie, who remembered the ones they had lost in the valley in that exodus, in that violent exodus, they are propaganda tools of the government? Is that what you're going to sit here and tell us? Absolutely not. पद्मजा, इनका इकोसिस्टम ना सच्चाई से बहुत डरता है. आज कश्मीर फाइल्स मूवी बनी है, मैं कहता हूं एक नहीं 10 मूवी बननी चाहिए कश्मीर फाइल्स पे, क्योंकि आज मिस्टर चौधरी हैं, कल मिस्टर चौधरी जैसे 10 लोग होंगे जो 10 साल बाद हमें कहेंगे कि अरे कश्मीर में तो कोई एक्सोडस हुआ ही नहीं था, गोधरा में तो कोई ट्रेन जली ही नहीं थी, 1984 में किसी सिख पर दिल्ली में हमला हुआ ही नहीं था. These are the people who want to rewrite history which suits their political narrative and their political convenience. And today on your show, I will call Mr. Chaudhary out. Propaganda नहीं है, सच्चाई है, आप उसको स्वीकार करिए.
Vivek Srivastava, here's the thing. Israeli diplomats have seen through what Mr. Lapid was trying to do, but we cannot see it in India. Why is that? What has the Israeli ambassador to India said? I quote, Lapid should be ashamed. But here in India, we are saying India should be ashamed.
I already know.
Why should India be ashamed?
Yeah, listen. I mean, neither, it's not the question of India being ashamed, and Mr. Vivek Agnihotri and Anupam Kher are not India. India is much bigger. The criticism was of a particular film. An artist, a jury has a right to criticize, and he said it is being done not with no ulterior motive. He said any film festival should have the openness to allow criticism also. I mean, it was shown in your package.
But sir, now this was not, first of all, he misused the platform. Let me quote to you what his own countryman and the ambassador of Israel to India has said. You should be ashamed. You have misused the hospitality of India to further your personal opinions.
Sorry, you are wrong. You cannot equate the political appointee who is an envoy with an artist or a filmmaker or a jury.
Oh,
they are different.
So basically, you are saying that the ambassador is compromised. Is the ambassador also an agent of the BJP?
The envoy has to echo it. And Mr. Chaudhary was right in saying, no, listen to me. The Israelis, the country, the Israel today is a terror state, and the Palestinians are not getting the due.
Okay, so you have dismissed Israel as a terror state. Rishi Bagri, why would you believe the ambassador of Israel to India? Because Mr. Lapid is the voice of truth. Vivek Srivastava says Lapid is speaking truth to power. Of course, the ambassador, he is just a political appointee. He has to say, be on the right side of the Indian government. Rishi Bagri.
I just want to say, I mean, Vivek ji, please let me speak.
Why can't he criticize the film?
The problem is that these are the same toolkit. These are the same toolkit gang who were disparaging Akshay Kumar till yesterday by calling him a Canadian citizen. And they were seen cheerleading a leftist Israeli director today for calling us Kashmiri genocide a figment of imagination and calling it a vulgar, inappropriate propaganda. I mean, please let me speak. You have your turn. Let me speak, please. Ironically, he is the same guy. He is the same Hamas sympathizer who attacks his own country when they defend themselves against the Hamas aggression. Now, Padmaja, tell me, ये क्या राजीव, चालीव, गालीव slogans हुआ ही नहीं था कभी. It never happened. Javed Nalka and Vitta Karate never butchered for IF of Indian Air Force officers. BK Ganju blood was never butchered and his blood was never fed to his wife. क्या बकवास कर रहे हैं सर? आप थोड़ा चुप रहिए. आप सच्चाई सुनने की हिम्मत रखिए. अगर सच्चाई सुनने की हिम्मत नहीं है तो आप चुप हो जाइए.
You are absolutely right in saying that Anupam Kher and Vivek Agnihotri is not all of India, but this film is also about thousands, if not lakhs of people who are saying we find a voice in this film. Now, आपको प्रोपेगेंडा लगती होगी. हजारों लोग हैं जिनको लगता है we are being heard. And by the way, it is not just Indians, it is not just Kashmiri Hindus, and it is not just BJP and RSS. Let me also quote to you what Kobi Shoshani, who is the Consul General of Israel to Mumbai, has said. He said, I saw the film, it's definitely not propaganda. The voice of the people of Kashmir needs to be heard. When I saw the film, tears came in my eyes. So you're saying that the Consul General, that Vivek Agnihotri, that Anupam Kher, that Kashmiri Hindus who say that this film gives us a voice are all propagandists?
आप एक आर्टिस्ट से कैसे इक्वेट कर रहे हैं? Freedom of expression कहाँ गया Padmaja?
He doesn't allow to speak anyone. There's no point of having a debate because he's not
political appointee को artist से एक second. Please lower your voice for a second. So now the argument is कि एक artist हमेशा सच्चाई बोलता है. आप artist को believe कीजिए ऋषि बागरी. Why are you believing the ambassador? Why are you believing him?
I have no issue, Padmaja ji. I have no issue. अपने उसको भी भूल जाते हैं. BL भान को कोई किसी ने मारा नहीं था. गिरजा टिक्को को किसी ने मारा ही नहीं था. दीनानाथ मंजू को किसी ने मारा ही नहीं था. बिट्टा कराटे जी ने इंडियन एयरफोर्स के 4 ऑफिसर्स को मारा ही नहीं था. साइंटिस्ट KL गंजू और उनकी वाइफ प्रेरणा को किसी ने मारा ही नहीं था. लेट्स फॉरगेट दैट. लेट्स अज्यूम कि वो जो एक्सोडस हुआ था वो एक्सोडस हुआ ही नहीं था. वो तो माइग्रेंट वर्कर्स थे जो काम ढूंढने दिल्ली में आए थे. और जो यासीन मलिक था, जो टेररिस्ट था, जो सेल्फ सर्टिफाइड टेररिस्ट था, उसको प्राइम मिनिस्टर ने उसको होस्ट किया था. भाई वो कैसे टेररिस्ट हो सकता है? तो सच्चाई सुनने की इनकी हिम्मत नहीं है. सच्चाई को ये लोग किसी फिल्म मेकर ने सच्चाई दिखाई है तो इनका पूरा इकोसिस्टम हिल जाता है.
Okay, so if you want to believe artistic people, I actually want to play out for you what the director of IFFI has said. What the director of IFFI has said, Ravinder Bhakar, who is the director of the film festival and is a creative person, has said, and I quote, the filmmaker Nadav Lapid has done some external propaganda. How can he particularly target a film out of 22 films that he has watched? Kashmir Files was not selected. This was completely unexpected of us. तो अगर आप क्रिएटिव लोगों को बिलीव कर रहे हैं तो IFFI डायरेक्टर को बताइए. वो तो कह रहे हैं कि अगर कोई प्रोपेगेंडा कर रहा है तो वो नदाव लापिड है, विवेक श्रीवास्तव. उनका प्रोपेगेंडा आपको सच्चाई दिख रही है और एक फिल्म आपको प्रोपेगेंडा दिख रही है क्योंकि मेरे को जो सूट करता है वो सच है. जो मेरे को अच्छा नहीं लगता वो प्रोपेगेंडा. जो मुझे अच्छा लगे वो सच्चा है. जो मुझे अच्छा ना लगे वो संघी है.
बिल्कुल नहीं.
क्यों
नहीं? मैं ये कह रहा हूं, all I'm saying is we should have the freedom to praise or criticize. If Padmaja wants to praise, she should be allowed to praise. If Vivek Srivastava wants to criticize and say it is a stupid, bogus, propaganda, cruel, vulgar movie, I should be allowed. Let's
you
not
should be
curtail
allowed.
the voice of freedom.
That is great. I am so glad you said that, sir. Because here is what I have to say to people who keep saying कि इस देश के अंदर अब तो dictatorship आ गई है, emergency आ गई है. I don't remember the last time that somebody came on a government platform and while he was speaking, Vivek Srivastava, in the presence of ministers, nobody interrupted him. Nobody stopped him. It was an Indian government festival. Much as I think that he misused his position, yet it is in India that he can stand here, he can say what he did, and he still remained our respected guest, and he left respectably. Tushar Gupta. That is what Indian democracy is. It is an argumentative democracy, but in India, people can come, misuse the hospitality that they are shown, and still leave respectably. Tushar Gupta. And then people like you sit here, Vivek Srivastava, and say कि यहाँ पे तो दूसरी emergency आ गई है.
You know, Padmaja. You know, please, someone needs to mute Vivek Srivastava.
Just 30 seconds, Tushar Gupta, yes.
Look, अरे चुप करिए, एक मिनट बात करने दीजिए. You know, Mr. Srivastava says he's an artistic person, but his criticism of Vivek Agnihotri's work was not about cinematic techniques or how the movie could have been better. It was a very much political criticism. It was made with an intention to stir a political debate, and that is what happened. Let's not confuse that, oh, this was some artistic remark that he made and went. It wasn't. It was a political statement and must be seen as such. And about Mr. Srivastava, you know, on your show, Padmaja, just a couple of months back, Mr. Srivastava said that the Hindus that are being attacked in Leicester are being attacked because there is a Modi government since 2014. So I'm not surprised that he sits here today and calls the pain of Kashmiri Pandits a vulgar propaganda. That's what describes Mr. Srivastava, a politically frustrated man. That's all.
Anirban Banerjee, this is just sheer political frustration that you are looking for validation in anyone who is willing to sit there and embarrass or abuse India. Anirban Banerjee.
First of all, my condolences for the intellect of those who choose to equate a film with an entire country. I mean, this is beyond naive, if anything.
No, no. So the film is not the country and the country is not the film.
They have doubled
but sir, here is a platform which was given by India. And India was embarrassed, which is why we are asking the question about why the Glee. The context is very clear. Yes, now go on.
Then why are you equating the propaganda film with the country?
Nobody is. What we are equating is a government function organized by Government of India, which was misused by a foreign guest to further his agenda.
So what?
That is what we are questioning. I don't think you heard me when I said at the beginning, I am not holding any brief for the film, and this is not about the merits of the film. My simple argument is that if today an Indian government's platform was misused for someone's personal propaganda, why do we have people in India cheering it on? That is my limited point, sir.
Did the organizers give a condition that you cannot criticize a film? Kashmir Files is a propaganda film and the person has called out a propaganda to be a propaganda, and now here are people who are beyond naive who want to call Kashmir Files equal to India.
No.
Then why not call Ram Ke Naam the documentary film?
So in our country we have freedom, of course. He came, he had the freedom, he said what he had to. Again my question is, why are you so happy? Somebody has come and decided to be completely graceless. Why are you so happy? आप क्यों उनके लिए ताली पीट रहे हैं? आपको इतनी खुशी क्यों मिल रही है?
What is graceless?
It reflects badly on him.
What is graceless about calling out a propaganda film?
He has to answer to his own conscience and he has to answer to his own country, who by the way is criticizing him.
Here there are many people who are shedding tears for the Kashmiri Pandits. Right now, the Kashmiri Pandits are again getting butchered by terrorists. The BJP government is ruling there.
Sir,
right?
Again,
what is happening?
Let me steer you back to the main issue. Let me just simply show you the kind of difference in reaction. What has been said by the Israelis? Here is what the Israel ambassador has said, the High Commissioner. He says that I was extremely hurt to see reactions in India to you that you're doubting Schindler's List, the Holocaust and worse. I am no film expert, but I do know that it's insensitive and presumptuous to speak about historic events before deeply studying them, which are an open wound in India because many of the involved are still around and paying a price. So Israel is saying, what a horrible thing to do. You are graceless, you have embarrassed us, and you should be ashamed. But in India we are saying, great job Mr. Lapid, you are the best thing to have happened to us since sliced bread. I am asking you, why? Why?
Before Mr. Lapid, there were thousands of people from India within our country who have called out this propaganda film to be a propaganda. Mr. Lapid, a foreigner, he has also expressed his views. Just by the logic, when you said that if you don't like the film, don't watch it. If you don't like his statements, don't hear it. Don't read it. What's the problem?
Gupta. Of course we didn't hear it. Again the question asking is that being asked is that he would have come, said his piece and left. But he was amplified and he was cheered and he was applauded as the best person to exist on this planet. And that is what the debate is about. It is not about should he have said it, should we make him apologize, should we ban him forever? No. He said it, he misused his position, good for him, he has to only answer to himself and how badly this reflects on him. The question we are asking is of our own countrymen, not of Mr. Lapid. Tushar Gupta.
Padmaja, डूबते को तिनके का सहारा और टूल किट इकोसिस्टम को मिस्टर लैपिड का सहारा. इनको अपनी पॉलिटिक्स को जस्टिफाई करने के लिए एक आर्टिस्ट मिल गया है and they are riding upon his statement to make a point. Mr. Banerjee sits here and says thousands of people in India have dismissed the movie as a propaganda tool. To him, I reply, there are lakhs of Kashmiri Hindus across the globe who have watched this movie, identified with the events that have been shown in it and said that this was the truth. This was the truth that was hidden for 30 years in mainstream cinema, and we are glad someone has decided to tell the story. So आपका ये thousands of people have dismissed वाला propaganda यहाँ नहीं चलेगा, ये कहीं और चलाइए.
Okay, I'm just going to end by saying this. Remember, not too long ago, we had President of the United States, we had in fact Vladimir Putin from Russia praising India, not Modi, praising India, saying that India is a bright spot in the global economy, that the future belongs to India. And when Putin praised us, we were told, oh, that's only because he wants you to buy arms from him. This has got nothing to do with the ground reality. So Putin is to be ignored, Biden is to be ignored, Australia is to be ignored. But who is to be believed? One filmmaker with a dodgy past and a very clear agenda, he is to be treated as the gospel. Why? Because it suits your politics to embarrass us as a country. Is this what we've come to? Let's think about that. Meanwhile, best of luck to Mr. Lapid for future festivals, for whatever agenda that he has right now. And always remember, maybe this kind of freedom is not something that he would enjoy in other countries. That's what makes India the country it is. Thanks very much, gentlemen, for joining me. It's a fight that's going down to the wire in the most difficult phase for the Gujarat elections. Phase 1 will see polling taking place in Saurashtra, Kutch and parts of South Gujarat. And hours before that, the Congress party has been put in the dock again. Why? Because its new president, Mallikarjun Kharge, today compared the Prime Minister to the demon Ravan. Addressing a public meeting for the Congress, Kharge said that the PM is omnipresent in the local, state, Lok Sabha elections like a Ravan with 100 heads. This comes just hours after Mr. Kharge dismissed the Prime Minister's allegation of being targeted by political opponents and in the process called him झूठ का सरदार.
अरे आप तो प्रधानमंत्री हो, आपको काम दिया गया है, वो काम करो. वो छोड़ के म्युनिसिपल कॉर्पोरेशन इलेक्शन, एमएलए इलेक्शन, खैर एमपी इलेक्शन, उनको प्राइम मिनिस्टर बनना है तो फिरते रहते. अब भाई तुम्हारे को तुम्हारी सूरत कितनी बार देखना, कॉर्पोरेशन में भी तुम्हारी सूरत देखना, एमएलए इलेक्शन भी तुम्हारी सूरत देखना. कितने हैं भाई? क्या आपके रावण के जैसा 100 मुख है? क्या है? और आपके जैसा आदमी जो हमेशा क्लेम करते हैं मैं गरीब हूं, मैं वो, हम भी गरीब है, हम तो गरीब से गरीब है। एक बार अगर झूठ बोलेंगे लोग सुन लेंगे, 2 बार भी बोलेंगे तो भी सुन लेंगे। कितने बार झूठ बोलेंगे? झूठ पर झूठ, ये झूठों के सरदार है।
You're watching the News Hour at 10. Debate number 2 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Mr. Kamal Zaman Chaudhary and Tushar Gupta continue with us. We are joined by senior journalist Ashutosh Mishra and Snehal Joshi, leader of the BJP in Gujarat. Snehal Joshi, I want to start by asking you, राजनीति में तो ये सब चलता रहता है, पर हर बार बीजेपी ऐसे कैपिटलाइज करना चाहती है। क्या यह आपका राजनीतिक पैतरा है कि आपको लगता है कि वो मोदी जी को अटैक करेंगे तो सिंपैथी वोट मिलेगा, वो सिंपैथी वोट लेने की कोशिश है?
See, Padmaja ji, we here in Gujarat are with the people of Gujarat 24/7. Bharatiya Janata Party is working for the people 24/7. But of course, elections are the time where we go to the people and say that we have done this work. Now, as far as this is concerned, we have seen that a senior political leader of a party, which is Congress party, it's well known for a lot of such things, has said that the Prime Minister of India is a demon, he is a Ravan. So don't you think it's a very shameful thing to
so
say?
So he said it in the context of कि भाई हर जगह आपके चेहरे पे वोट पड़ता है, आपका लोकल बॉडी इलेक्शन हो, म्यूनिसिपैलिटी हो, एमसीडी हो, आपका लोकसभा हो, असेंबली हो, तो ऐसा लगता है कि हर जगह बस आप ही के चेहरे हैं। वो कहते हैं कि भाई आपके कितने चेहरे हैं, जैसे रावण के 10 सर थे, क्या मोदी जी के भी इतने चेहरे? Maybe he said it like a joke.
Yeah, but in the whole world, he never got any good example or any good way of saying it gracefully. I mean, they have told him नीच. One Madhusudan Mistry of Congress party said कि उसकी औकात क्या है? I remember the Congress leader saying that वो प्रधानमंत्री कभी नहीं बन सकते, आके यहाँ चाय बेचे. So the problem is that they don't want a middle class or a poor guy of this nation who has risen to this level with the blessings of the people, and he is a prime minister, and in the world today he has taken India to the next level.
Okay, so Ashutosh Mishra, it's essentially the elitism which creeps through. Here is somebody who is not from the establishment, from the popularly called Luttians. So this outsider is coming in and you are like, इसकी औकात दिखा देंगे. कौन है ये आदमी? इसकी औकात क्या है?
No, when Mr. Kharge spoke about Ravan, the analogy was more to do with Mr. Modi's habit of masquerading as a messiah, when in fact all he wants is to entice the voters to vote for BJP. Much like Ravan disguised the shaitan in him as a sadhu when he went to kidnap Ma Sita. Now, what has been happening is that Modi has been insulting local BJP leaders by telling voters in rallies, that it is not necessary for you to remember even the name of the candidate. Whoever you vote for it, you are voting for Modi. And that has been exposed today, and that's why the BJP leaders
the question is different. The question being asked is that this is not alone. पहले आप उनको रावण बोलिए, चलो, we can say that it was about context, it was about an analogy. Before that, he's been called कि उसको औकात दिखा देंगे. He's been called गंदी नाली का कीड़ा. He's been called a niche. So it all follows to a pattern where you're basically attacking a man because he does not belong to your establishment. Basically हमारे level का नहीं है, ये कहने का मतलब है.
No, I don't think so. I mean, when Mr. Modi calls Renuka Chaudhary Supankha, what is that? It's not when in the Rajya Sabha he says ye BK hai. What does that mean? So if the level has been brought down, it has been brought down by the level of discourse in politics has been brought down by Narendra Modi.
स्नेहल जोशी बताइए, जब रेणुका चौधरी जी की हंसी पे टिप्पणी होती है, then it's not a problem, but now you have a problem when this kind of political banter happens. It's banter.
See, इसमें एक गुजराती में कहावत है कि पेट में दर्द होता है और सर पीट रहे हैं. So basically they don't have any issue in Gujarat to talk, to go with the people. They have a slogan कि कांग्रेस का काम बोलता है. उन्होंने 30 साल से कुछ किया नहीं. They had been just giving गाली to Honorable Prime Minister of India, And don't you think it's an insult of a son of our soil, and it's an insult to the Gujarati? When we were collecting the iron from different farmers all across the India for the statue of Honorable Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, they said कि ये भंगार इकट्ठा कर रहे हैं. भंगार का मतलब है it's a scrap. So they don't have any feelings for Gujarat. Rahul Gandhi also is not getting his yatra here, and Congress is completely anti-Gujarat. And now
son of
they
the
are
soil.
targeting Honorable
Here
Prime
is what it
Minister
all
because
boils
they
down to.
don't have
Kamal Zaman
anything to
Chaudhary,
speak.
compare this to the strategy of a Aam Aadmi party. Now, just because there were two videos which emerged of Gopal Italia making fun of Mr. Modi and his mother, what did the Aam Aadmi party do? They said कि भाई ये son of the soil की जो image है उसको mock करने पे will be dented. They quickly sidelined Gopal Italia and propped up Isudan Gadvi as CM candidate or the CM face. What does the Congress do? 2 days before polling they go and say औकात दिखा देंगे, वो रावण है, वो झूठों का सरदार है. Why? It's backfired before. Why?
No, Padmaja, you have taken the entire statement of Khargeji in a literal sense without going into the context. You know, he is the Prime Minister of our country. He has to rule the entire nation, not just be on a campaign mode 365 days, 24/7. Wherever you go, you see Narendra Modi ji campaigning for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Where does he have the time to run the country? Don't give us all the creep that he sleeps for only 2 to 3 hours. Say,
Sir, ऐसे तो फिर what is the Rajasthan Chief Minister?
Always the Prime
What is
Minister
the
of
Rajasthan
country,
Chief
that's
Minister
the
Ashok Gehlot doing? He also has a state to run. He is in charge of Gujarat. वो गुजरात में है. रघु शर्मा जी गुजरात में है. सब राजस्थान के लोग आके गुजरात में बैठे हुए हैं. क्या अशोक गहलोत जी को राजस्थान नहीं चलाना? The same logic I'll apply to you.
Ji, the context of Khargeji's statement was that.
But then गहलोत जी also you should call गहलोत जी रावण कि गहलोत जी मुख्यमंत्री हैं गुजरात के बैठे हुए हैं सॉरी मुख्यमंत्री हैं राजस्थान के बैठे हुए हैं गुजरात में क्या वो भी रावण है?
Talking to a Baghi candidate, please take back your candidature because our official BJP candidate might lose because of you. The Prime Minister of the country has reduced to such a level that he is 24/7 campaign mode, even in the municipal polls.
Okay, Snehal Joshi, respond.
That is the state of affairs of the nation.
I want to show all the viewers are right now looking that after this derogatory statement of Mallikarjun Khadke ji, now the whole team has come up to save him. Raghu Sharma ji said कि ये तो ऐसा बोला था, ये ऐसा बोला था. But the problem with these people is those who are not able to make a government or even get enough votes in Gujarat since 27 years, they are teaching Honorable Prime Minister how he should run his office. So this really doesn't suit the people of Gujarat, and I am sure that after 2 days and coming on the 5th, the election day, people will give them a very apt reply that when you insult a Gujarat son of a soil of Gujarat, it's not only the question of Gujarat, it's the pride of it's the problem in they have dented the pride of Gujarat.
Tushar Gupta, you know, since you have also gone out and you have reported on election, you've been among the voters, you think this works anymore in this age of social media when the BJP says, you know, the son of Gujarat has been insulted, ये मोदी जी की इंसल्ट किया यानी कि हर गुजराती को इंसल्ट किया है. Do people really buy it?
They do actually. I mean, you know, in the spirit of banter, Padmaja, अगर आप सोचे भ्रष्टाचार पे बनी राजनीतिक लंका कांग्रेस की जल गई है पर रावण मोदी जी हैं. भगवान श्री राम के मंदिर की स्थापना अयोध्या में मोदी राज में हो रही है पर रावण फिर भी मोदी है. I mean, in the spirit of banter alone. But Padmaja, on a serious note, if you talk to the voters, they remember all this. They remember that Mani Shankar Iyer in 2014 mocked the candidature of the Prime Minister or then the Chief Minister of Gujarat, saying that ये चाय का स्टॉल यहां लगा सकते हैं. People remember what Rahul Gandhi said when the Rafale investigation was going on, कि चौकीदार चोर है. This was before 2019, and now someone going and calling him a Ravan. ये लोग याद रखते हैं. Congress doesn't understand. But if they have to attack the BJP, attack them on their policies. Do not attack brand Modi. It will always fall back. It will always work against them. But the Congress doesn't appear to learn. 2014 से आज 2023 पर आ गए हम. Almost on the end of 22. कांग्रेस का पैटर्न वही है. Voters remember, voters understand that the Congress has nothing but to call Prime Minister names, to oppose everything in the name of opposition, and that is why they are no longer interested in voting for the Congress. And Padmaja, you have been to Gujarat. I have spoken to a lot of people in Gujarat. The Congress
सब याद रखा जाएगा. ऐसा ना हो कि वोटर गुजरात के कहने लगे हम देखेंगे to the Congress.
So, we were talking about governance, and we have all seen, you were talking about social media, how Ashok Mochi, the face of Hindutva, poster boy of Hindutva in 2002, exposed the poor state he is still in, and how there has been no growth in Gujarat, and Gujarat growth is limited to cities, and how so many farmers, whether it be Kevadia, they are still to get their due. That is what is making BJP desperate, and they are
I'm sorry, sir, did you just quote somebody who was the face of the riots in 2002 to comment on the reality of Gujarat? You're saying Ashok Mochi is the man who you want to believe as to gauge what the reality of Gujarat is. The man who was seen on the cover of newspapers and magazines brandishing a sword during the riots, you're taking his word for what the reality of Gujarat is.
He represents the poor of Gujarat who fell into BJP's trap. And today he is regretting there has been no progress or vikas in his life.
But I thought your narrative was that the BJP was rewarding rioters.
Who have been misled on.
So according to your own narrative, Ashok Mochi should have been rewarded, right? It can't work both ways. You say that rioters are rewarded by BJP. Then when a rioter is not rewarded, you are like, oh, अच्छा क्योंकि इसको mislead करके इसको abandon कर दिया.
That is even worse. That is even worse. It is use and throw. If they bleed you, they will call you कि आओ भैया हमारे साथ मिलो, हम तुम्हारे साथ हैं. Or when they have used you, you are good for nothing. You can rot and they don't care.
So as is with everything, it's always chit bhi meri, pat bhi meri. When it suits you, then it's light banter. When it doesn't suit you, then it's all about being completely abusive. Anyhow, I'll just say this, that we are very close to the first phase of polling. In Gujarat, I strangely didn't believe it, but every time I have travelled, whether it's for the Lok Sabha election, for the assembly election, it's almost uncanny, but people will take very severe offense to one thing. Do anything, but when you talk about Mr. Modi, they seem to take it very personally. He is the man from Gujarat who is occupying the top seat, and for them it's almost a matter of personal pride. How this plays out, you won't have to wait very long. For the time being though, thank you very much gentlemen for joining me.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
The most pressing issue, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivchankar.
हम ये भी पूछना चाहेंगे आज कि जब आपकी पार्टी एक रेप अक्यूज्ड राम रहीम को पैरोल पे छोड़ती है और मंत्रीगण
कोर्ट कौन चलाता है?
पैरोल कौन देता है?
कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है?
पैरोल कौन दे रहा है?
कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है? मैं दोबारा कह रही हूं, कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है? आपको लगता है कॉन्शियंशियस सरकार जहां पर मीडिया की नजर 24 घंटे है, जहां सिटीजन्स एंगेजमेंट है 24 घंटे, वहां पर इफेक्टिवली खुद को कटघरे में खड़े होने के लिए कोई भी राजनेता इस प्रकार का कोई कदम लेगा?
पर लोग जा रहे हैं,
नहीं है।
उनके प्रवचनों पर आपके मंत्री जाते हैं।
मैं दोबारा कहती हूं, अगर एक
The News Hour at 10.
AIIMS servers remained down for the 7th day. A team of NIA visited the hospital to carry investigations into the ransomware attack. NIA has declared this a clear case of cyber terrorism. NHRC takes cognizance of the firing by the Assam Armed Forces in Meghalaya killing 6 people, asks the union government for measures to prevent such incidents in areas of border disputes between neighbouring states. After MLA and PSP chief Shivpal Yadav's security was downgraded from Z to Y category, he slammed BJP and said that now BJP's loss in UP will be even bigger. Addressing the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Assembly, Union Minister Anurag Thakur said media must ensure that live reporting during a terrorist attack shouldn't provide clues to attackers. Arrested by the CBI in alleged cattle smuggling scam, TMC strongman Anubrata Mondal filed bail application in the Calcutta High Court. Matter likely to be heard on November 30th.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break.
भारतीय जनता पार्टी में अभी भी कहना चाहता हूं देश की जनता को कि यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड लाने के लिए अड़ीग है, ऑफर है और हम लाकर रहेंगे। देखिए, यूनिफॉर्म सिविल कोड निश्चित रूप से भारतीय जनसंघ से लेकर भारतीय जनता पार्टी की हमारी यात्रा का, आज तक की हमारी राजनीतिक यात्रा का एक वादा रहा है देश की जनता से। और न केवल भारतीय जनता पार्टी, संविधान सभा ने भी देश भर के विधानमंडलों को और संसद को ये सलाह दी है कि
You're watching the News Hour at 10.
BJP State Chief Annamalai met Tamil Nadu Governor. Alleged lapses in security provided to PM Modi, claimed that door metal detector and bomb detectors were not in order. TRS Minister Malla Reddy, who was summoned by the IT, skipped the questioning. His accounts related to some donations were seized by the IT officials. In the ₹100 crore extortion case, Bombay High Court has postponed the hearing on bail petition filed by former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh till December 2. SFI members staged a protest in Chennai against RSS and BJP, claimed that they are pushing their ideology in the name of Kashi Tamil Sangamam. After over 36 policemen and 20 agitators were injured in protests yesterday, a special police team has been deployed to maintain law and order. No arrests have been made yet, though 3,000 people were booked.
Mr. Salve, we are talking about transparency. Do you believe the government too needs to be transparent? For instance, if it chooses to return a file to the Supreme Court, collegium of a judge who has been nominated or cleared for appointment, should the public also not know why the file is being returned? To take this a step further, should the IB report and the background checks, etc., made public? Should it work the other way also?
This whole process, quite frankly, and if I may not mince my words, this whole process has become pretty hopeless. I'm sorry to say so. Today, the IB gives a report. Today you ask a person to become a judge. You ask the IB to report. The IB reports partly gossip. Do you want that to come in public domain? I don't want my personal life to come in public domain. I may not even want to be a judge. So this whole process, this whole system is incompatible with transparency. Let me tell you 3 reasons. First of all, and this is my firm belief, all judicial institutions hear cases in public, recess into their chambers and deliver judgments. What goes on inside chambers is never, ever the subject of public scrutiny. And if somebody was to ask a judge in your meeting, when you arrived at a consensus or dissent, what did you discuss? It would be the worst form of contempt, because you're trying to undermine the judiciary. You're trying to interfere with the process by which this beautiful system works. So the judiciary's transparency is, the judiciary speaks through its judgments, and that's the transparency. What judges discuss once they go into their chambers has to be protected. Here is a function where the judges are trying to come into public domain. You want one judge to pass comments on a sitting colleague in the High Court. I don't think that's the right thing to do. 3 judges or 5 judges consider the appointment of a judge to the Supreme Court. I'm not going by the gossip you've heard of what discussions take place. I am telling you on a principle, please consider. One of the judges may say, frankly, I think his judgments are third rate. You want that to come in public? The person is a sitting Chief Justice. You are considering his name for the Supreme Court. This is a process which has to be fundamentally different. If you have this kind of a tension between the government and the judiciary, and we have seen that the government says on the one hand, you reduced us to a post office because the last word is with you. Many times, late Mr. Jaitley used to say, don't blame me, I'm the post office. I receive the file, I send it to the High Court, I get the file, I send it to them. In a situation like this, who takes responsibility? It's the court which has to today take responsibility. And in that, I don't think this system is compatible with the kind of transparency which you must have in the appointment of judges. We have to think of another way in which it is done, and in which the sanctity of a person's integrity is maintained. Look at the American system. You know, if you are agreeing to be appointed a Supreme Court judge, you will have a Senate hearing, and that Senate hearing can be excoriating. All sorts of things come up in a Senate confirmation proceeding. That's one system. Will it work for us? May not work for us. We have to find some institutional mechanism by which the institution and not our court does this job. Otherwise, the judges are bringing themselves and their internal confabulations into public domain. The judges are bringing on public record what they feel about each other. The judges are bringing on public record what their personal opinion is of the merits of other sitting judges. And I don't think that's a good thing to do.
Well, the session is named or titled as Winds of Change in New India. Ideally, I think it should be titled Storms of Change in Rising New India. Because New India started in May 2014, and moving on 8 years, it has shaped into Rising New India. As the vision or the initiative of Prime Minister Modi has started taking place, making India a rising new India in a gathering.
And in the meanwhile, in more news, we're tracking, speaking at the inaugural session of Global Technology Summit in the national capital, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar said India will use G20 presidency to reflect interests of the often sidelined Global South. Arrested by CBI in alleged cattle smuggling case, TMC strongman Anubrata Mondal has filed bail application in the Calcutta High Court. The matter is likely to be heard on the 30th November. SFI members staged a protest in Chennai against the RSS and the BJP, claiming that they are pushing their ideology in the name of Kashi Tamil Sangmam. After over 36 policemen and 20 agitators were injured in Vizinjam protests yesterday, a special police team has been deployed to maintain law and order. No arrests have been made so far, though 3,000 people have been booked. Rehearsals for Indian Navy Day celebrations pick up pace in Visakhapatnam. President Draupadi Murmu remembers likely to attend the celebrations on the 4th of December.
The most pressing issues, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
हम ये भी पूछना चाहेंगे आज कि जब आपकी पार्टी एक रेप अक्यूज्ड राम रहीम को पैरोल पे छोड़ती है और मंत्रीगण
कोर्ट कौन चलाता है?
पैरोल कौन देता है?
कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है?
पैरोल कौन दे रहा है?
कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है? मैं दोबारा कह रही हूँ, कोर्ट कौन चला रहा है? आपको लगता है कॉन्शियंशियस सरकार जहां पर मीडिया की नजर 24 घंटे है, जहां सिटीजन्स एंगेजमेंट है 24 घंटे, वहां पर इफेक्टिवली खुद को कटघरे में खड़े होने के लिए कोई भी राजनेता इस प्रकार का कोई कदम लेगा?
पर लोग जा रहे हैं,
नहीं है।
उनके प्रवचनों पर आपके मंत्री जाते हैं।
मैं दोबारा कहती हूं, अगर एक लॉ के मर्यादा में कोई भी कोर्ट कोई निर्णय लेता है, मैं दोबारा सीजीआई ने हाल फिलहाल में ये कहा कि भाई कोर्ट डरते हैं, मैं उस पर भी टिप्पणी नहीं कर रही हूं। मेरा ये आपसे पूछना है कि आपको लगता है कॉन्शियंशियस एक पॉलिटिशियन इस प्रकार का निर्णय लेगा? नहीं लेगा।
नहीं लिया, और पैरोल पे अगर कोर्ट की वजह से बाहर भी आए राम
तो फिर
रहीम,
दोबारा तो आप जब प्रश्न पूछ रही थी तो आपको कोर्ट के संदर्भ में कहना चाहिए था।
लेकिन वो बाहर अगर आए हैं तो आप उनकी
मैं दोबारा कह रही हूं कि अगर वो कोर्ट की वजह से बाहर आए हैं तो आप कटघरे में पॉलिटिशियन को क्यों खड़ा कर रहे हैं?
क्योंकि पॉलिटिशियन वहां बैठकर सत्संग देख रहे।
मैं गई थी।
नहीं, पर आपकी पार्टी के लोग गए थे।
मैं गई थी। इसका मतलब कोई पुरुष नेता कुछ करेगा तो आप पुरुष से नहीं कहेंगे, महिला आपके सामने आएगी उससे पूछेंगे।
हेडलाइन?
नो, नॉट अ हेडलाइन, दिस इज हार्डली वन।
नहीं, पर
जी नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन।
ये सब आपके कॉलीग्स हैं, ये वहां जाकर सत्संग में बैठते हैं, आपको बुरा नहीं लगता?
पहले तो मैं दोबारा कहती हूँ, आप जब सत्संग शब्द का इस्तेमाल करती हैं, कहीं ना कहीं आप इस बात को कुरेद रहे हैं, सिंस यू कॉल्ड मी अ हार्डकोर हिंदू टू बिगिन विद।
मैंने नहीं कहा, वो जवाहर सरकार ने कहा।
बट आई नो दैट यू हैव रीपोजिशन्ड इट एंड योर जक्सटापोजिशन इज वेल नोटेड। आप ये इसलिए कह रही हैं ताकि मेरे अंदर के हिंदू को कुरेद दें और बार बार कहें अरे सत्संग में गए, सत्संग में गए, सत्संग में गए। दूसरे धर्म में आपको दिखाई दिए हैं कोई जो रेप के आरोपी हैं, मर्डर के आरोपी हैं? आप किसी भी मंच से किसी और धर्म के बारे में ऐसा बोलती हैं? या आपको हार्डकोर हिंदू आज मिला है मंच पे तो इसलिए हिंदू है तो इससे पूछ लेते हैं?
अच्छा, अब सवाल पूछने के लिए पहले
हिंदू विद अ सरनेम कॉल्ड ईरानी। हाँ,
आप हिंदू हैं कि पारसी हैं शादी के बाद?
देखिए, पारसी रिलीजन में धर्मांतरण नहीं होता, और धर्मांतरण होता तो भी मैं गर्व से हिंदू हूं, मैं नहीं करती।
पहले कहा जाता था कि कांग्रेस तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति करती है।
पहले ही कहा जाता था,
अब भी कहा जाता है। तो कांग्रेस तुष्टीकरण की राजनीति करती है और आप मेजॉरिटेरियनिज्म की राजनीति करते हैं। आप पर
80 करोड़ नागरिकों को उनके घर में 28 महीने से मुफ्त का राशन मिल रहा है। 19 करोड़ आयुष्मान भारत के कार्ड डिस्ट्रीब्यूट हो चुके हैं। 3 करोड़ 50 लाख से ज्यादा हॉस्पिटल एडमिशन हो चुके हैं। आपको कभी भी पता चला कि एडमिशन हॉस्पिटल में हिंदू का हुआ या मुसलमान का हुआ या पारसी का हुआ या जैन का हुआ या बौद्ध का हुआ? क्या नल का पानी किसी भी नलके से टपकने से पहले जल जीवन मिशन में पूछता है किसके घर में खुल रहा है? बिजली की तार जब जा रही है मोदी सरकार में किसी घर में, तो करंट वहां पे आने से पहले पूछता है घर किसका है? सड़क जो बना रहे हैं मोदी जी, सड़क पूछती है आपसे आप कौन से धर्म के चल रहे हैं?
Hello and welcome and a very good evening. This is News Now Overnight and I'm Siddharth Talia. Let's take you through the top 50 headlines this hour at 11 o'clock. Israeli filmmaker and the chief of one of the juries of the International Film Festival in Goa, Nadav Lapid, calls Kashmir Files a vulgar propaganda. The jury board distances itself from Nadav's remarks. Israeli envoy Naor Gilon slams Lapid for insensitive and presumptuous judgment of historic events without knowledge. Victims of Hindu genocide ask for Lapid's apology. Actor Anupam Kher slams what he calls the Toolkit Gang, alleges that the attack was pre-planned on the film Kashmir Files. Meanwhile, the Shiv Sena claims maximum killings of Hindus took place post the film's release, blames the centre for selling a distorted narrative. Legal trouble mounts for Nadav Lapid. An advocate has filed a complaint against him. Even the Goa Chief Minister has said that action will be taken by the state and the centre for misusing a platform as well as his position as the International Film Jury Chief. As the poll battle brews ahead of the Gujarat elections, Mallikarjun Kharge compares Prime Minister Narendra Modi with Ravan, saying that instead of performing his duties, he is omnipresent during elections. BJP responds to the attack, calling it desperation, says the Congress has insulted not just the Prime Minister, but the people of Gujarat. Power tussle in Karnataka Congress now worsens ahead of the polls. Loyalist openly campaigns for Siddaramaiah as Chief Minister after rival DK Shivkumar presented his credentials for the top post. After attack on the Padyatra, YSRTP Chief Sharmila Reddy takes on Telangana Chief Minister KCR, leads protest outside the Chief Minister's house in Hyderabad. She is now in house arrest. Visuals emerged of police dragging away the YSRTP chief's car with the help of a crane, even as she sits inside it protesting against KCR. In the latest video strike on the Aam Aadmi Party, the BJP has tweeted a video of the AAP MCD candidate Bunty allegedly flashing a pistol at a private party, cites it as proof of Kejriwal's backing for Gunda candidates. The Aam Aadmi Party candidate has now reacted very strongly to the video, calling it a desperate attempt by the BJP to release a 10-year-old video of him brandishing what he calls a toy gun. Just 24 hours before the Gujarat elections, the BJP has released another old video of the Aam Aadmi Party chief in the state of Gujarat, Mr. Gopal Italia, where Italia can be seen making derogatory remarks about the Swaminarayan sect and its followers. The Bharatiya Janata Party has demanded that Gopal Italia be sacked and that Gujarat will not accept bigots. The Congress Party has also weighed in, saying that the Aam Aadmi Party's Kejriwal stands with corrupt ministers, added that Aam Aadmi Party has no moral foundation. In the gruesome Shraddha murder case, 13 bone pieces likely to be Shraddha's recovered from Gurugram and Delhi. Investigations also confirmed the suspicion that Aftab Poonawala had planned Shraddha's murder. Aftab's narco test will now be held on the 1st of December. Accused Aftab was taken for a polygraph test again amid high security after yesterday's attack on his police van. The servers of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences had remained shut for the 7th day in a row. A team of the NIA visited the hospital to carry investigations into the ransomware attack. The NIA has declared this a clear case of cyber terror. The NHRC has taken cognizance of the firing by the Assam police in Meghalaya, killing 6 people, asking the union government for measures to prevent such incidents in areas where boundary disputes prevail between neighbouring states. Ahead of the Gujarat elections, while addressing a rally in Dahod, the BJP National President Mr. JP Nadda said that healthcare cover of Rs 5 lakh has been given to 50 crore people, which is more than the population of the United States, the UK, France and Canada combined. After MLA and PSP chief Shivpal Yadav's security was downgraded from Z to Y, he slammed the BJP, said this was expected of the BJP, and now he claims that the BJP's loss in the UP elections will be even bigger. Addressing the Asia Pacific Broadcasting Assembly, Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Mr. Anurag Thakur said that the media must ensure that live reporting during a terror attack should not provide clues to attackers. Arrested by the CBI in the alleged cattle smuggling scam, TMC strongman from Birbhum, Anubrata Mondal, filed a bail application in the Calcutta High Court. The matter likely now to be heard on the 30th of November, which is tomorrow. The BJP state chief in Tamil Nadu, Mr. Annamalai, met the state governor. Alleged lapses in security provided to the Prime Minister, claimed that door metal detectors and bomb detectors were not in order. The TRS Minister Malla Reddy, who was summoned by the IT team, skipped the questioning. His accounts related to some donations were seized by income tax officials. In the rupees 100 crore extortion case, Bombay High Court postponed the hearing on a bail petition filed by former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh. The hearing will now take place on the 2nd of December. SFI members staged a protest in Chennai against the RSS and the BJP, claiming that they are pushing their ideology in the name of Kashi Tamil Sangamam. After over 36 policemen and 20 agitators were injured in the Viringam protests yesterday, a special police team has been deployed to maintain law and order. No arrests have been made yet, though 3,000 people were booked. This incident took place 2 days ago. Protests erupted in the outskirts of Bengaluru after a biker and a pillion rider were run over by a BBMP garbage truck last night. Locals caught and attacked the truck driver before handing him over to the police. The Delhi High Court gave the Delhi Police a final opportunity to file its reply in a plea seeking an independent inquiry into alleged police atrocities against students at the Jamia campus in 2019. Nursing candidates in Kolkata staged a protest near the Chief Minister's residence, alleging a nursing recruitment scam along the lines of a teacher's recruitment scam in the state. Members of the Pasi community staged a protest near the historical Patna Gandhi Maidan, demanding exemption of toddy in Bihar. The police resorted to lathi charge after the mob began pelting stones. A woman interrupted the Hindu Ekta Manch's Beti Bachao Mahapanchayat and expressed her complaints on the stage, then hit a man with her slippers when he tried to push her away from the mic. The minimum temperature in Delhi settled 3 notches below normal at 7.3 degrees, and the air quality index remained in the very poor category with an AQI of 346. Colourful Akal lamps are being made in Puducherry ahead of the Kartigai Deepam festival, one of the major Hindu festivals which will be celebrated on the 6th of December. Madam President Draupadi Murmu inaugurated the International Gita Mahotsav in Kurukshetra. The Haryana Chief Minister, Mr. Manohar Lal Khattar, was also present. Rehearsal for the Indian Navy Day celebrations pick up pace in Visakhapatnam. President Draupadi Murmu is likely to attend the celebrations on the 4th of December. The Indian and American armies participate in the Yuddh Abhyas exercise in Oli, less than 100 kilometers from the China border. The Indian Army demonstrated using assault dogs for counter-terror operations during the ongoing war game Yuddh Abhyas. Now, India recorded 215 new COVID-19 cases over the last 24 hours, the lowest since April 2020. One related fatality was also reported. Russia has sent India a list of more than 500 products for potential delivery, including parts for cars, aircraft as well as trains, as sanctions amid the ongoing war with Ukraine squeeze Russia's ability to keep vital industries running. Speaking at the inaugural session of the Global Technology Summit in New Delhi, the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar said that India will use the G20 presidency to reflect the interests of the often sidelined Global South. The National Security Advisor, Shri Ajit Doval, met French Armed Forces Minister Sébastien Lecornu. Both officials discussed issues related to global, regional and bilateral security. The National Security Advisor, Mr. Doval, also spoke on social harmony in India as well as Indonesia at the India Islamic Cultural Center, said that while both countries have overcome challenges of terrorism to a considerable extent, cross-border terror continues to pose a significant threat. Chinese authorities have begun inquiries into people who gathered at the weekend protests against COVID-19 curbs in different parts of the country, including Beijing. China will speed up COVID-19 vaccinations for the elderly, aiming to overcome a key stumbling block in efforts to ease unpopular zero-COVID curbs. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said that the so-called golden era of relations with China was over, saying that Beijing's systemic challenge to Britain's interests was growing all the more acute. Hawaii's Mauna Loa, the world's largest active volcano, erupted for the first time in 40 years, ending its longest quiet period in recorded history. And finally, South Korean President Yoon Suk Yeol warned of an unprecedented joint response with allies if North Korea goes ahead with a nuclear test. Shifting our focus to the day's big story, the festering wounds of Kashmiri Hindus, hunted and hounded from their own homes and still awaiting justice, have now begun to be in fact raked up once again. A massive controversy has erupted at the international festival by the government of India in Goa. On the closing day of the 9-day event, the IFFI's jury head for international competition section, Nadav Lapid, set the cat amongst the pigeons by tearing into the film Kashmir Files. He called the film a propaganda and vulgar, as well as inappropriate for an artistic competitive section of such a prestigious film festival. Let's listen into what Mr. Lapid had to say.
All of us disturbed and shocked by the 15th film, by the movie Kashmir Files, that felt to us like a propaganda vulgar movie, inappropriate for an artistic competitive section of such a prestigious film festival. I feel totally comfortable to share openly these feelings here with you on stage, since the spirit that we felt in the festival can surely accept also a critical discussion, which is essential for art and for life.
Now, the reactions to this particular comment have been very strong. Times Network Group editor Navika Kumar also spoke to the Kashmir Files director, Mr. Vivek Agnihotri. He expressed that the truth is the most dangerous thing. It can make people lie.
देखिए, राजनीति में कुछ भी स्पॉन्टेनियस नहीं होता है. पहले तो ये हम एक मंत्र समझ लें. ये आप देखिए कि वेस्ट में कैंपेन चालू हुई है. आपने लेस्टर का इशू देखा होगा. ऑक्सफोर्ड में मुझे कैंसिल किया था, फिर लेस्टर में सारा चालू हुआ, फिर फॉरेन का मीडिया धीरे धीरे ये राइट विंग के अग्रेशन और इंट्रूजन को और उनके एक्सपेंशन को क्वेश्चन करने लगा. नैरेटिव का शिफ्ट हो रहा है, इसको समझने की कोशिश करिए. दूसरा, पिछले कुछ एक वक्त से जब से फिल्में थिएटर में दिखाना चालू हुई हैं, बॉलीवुड की फिल्में लगातार पिट रही हैं और इसको लेके बॉलीवुड के लोग काफी परेशान हैं. और उन्होंने एक कैंपेन कश्मीर फाइल्स के खिलाफ चालू की है और ये इंटरनेशनल नेटवर्क है जो अपने बॉलीवुड के फिल्म मेकर्स का और इंटरनेशनल लोगों का. तो ये कई सारी फोर्सेस मिलके एक नैरेटिव क्रिएट करना चाहती हैं कि जो भारत की सरकार है और जो ये राइट विंग है, ये पूरे विश्व में घुस के एक फैशिस्ट तरीके से इस्लामोफोबिया बढ़ा रहा है. ये मैं अभी कल ही अमेरिका से लौट के आया हूं और नाविका जी, आपको देखिए बड़े एक आश्चर्य की बात बताता हूं. मैं किसी को बताया नहीं मैं अमेरिका क्यों गया था. एक्चुअली वहां की एक जो सबसे प्रेस्टिजियस अवार्ड्स होते हैं, उनकी ज्यूरी ने द कश्मीर फाइल्स देखी. कई सारे लोग रोने लगे और उन लोगों ने कहा हमें इस डायरेक्टर से बात करनी ही है, हम जानना चाहते हैं कि ये इतना बड़ा जेनोसाइड इसके पहले हमें क्यों नहीं पता चला. मैं सिर्फ इसलिए वहां पे गया था. ये जो फिल्म मेकर हैं ये चाहते हैं कि कश्मीर भारत से आजाद हो जाए. मैं क्यों इस आदमी की बात सुनूं. ये जो भी है, फिल्म मेकर होने का मतलब ये थोड़ी होता है कि आपके पंख लग गए हैं. जो भी आदमी जो मेरे देश के विभाजन की बात करेगा, जो कश्मीर को भारत का इंटीग्रल पार्ट नहीं मानता है, उसको मैं इस देश का दुश्मन मानता हूं. देखिए, महामूर्खों को कैसे जवाब दिया जा सकता है. कोई आदमी अगर यह कह रहा है क्या बदला, तो हाई कोर्ट ने आज यासीन मलिक जेल के पीछे कैसे है. हाई कोर्ट ने 2 केसेस सुओ मोटो कैसे खोले, और इसलिए कि चूंकि कुछ इमीडिएटली नहीं हो रहा है इसलिए कुछ नहीं किया जाए. यही तो 32 साल से हो रहा था. 32 साल से किसी ने कुछ नहीं बोला कि क्या होगा, कौन करेगा, क्योंकि जो सरकारें थी वो करना नहीं चाहती थी. आज इसके बाद पूरे विश्व, अच्छा अगर समझिए कुछ नहीं बदला, ये फिल्म एक प्रोपेगेंडा है, तो इसके बारे में बात ही क्यों हो रही है. इसके बारे में बात क्यों हो रही है. मेरे को क्यों मुझे सिक्योरिटी के साथ घूमना पड़ता है. क्यों मेरे नाम पे फतवे इशू हो रहे हैं. क्यों कांग्रेस के लोग छटपटा रहे हैं बुरी तरह से कि ये फिल्म की जिक्र कहीं ना हो. क्यों विधानसभा में खड़े होकर केजरीवाल एक लोगों की पीड़ा और दर्द को झूठी कहानी बोल रहा है, जो गिरजा टिक्कू के गैंगरेप को झूठी कहानी बोल रहा है. इन लोगों का जवाब कैसे दिया जा सकता है. इसीलिए मैं इनको अर्बन नक्सल्स बोलता हूं. मुझे आश्चर्य इस बात का हुआ कि देखिए, ज्यूरी का कोई भी, मैं भी ज्यूरीज में रहा हूं, फिल्मों की भी और देश की. भारत में, मुझे विश्व की तो छोड़िए, सारी दुनिया में एक ही नियम है, पर भारत में तो कम से कम जब कोई ज्यूरी का मेंबर बनता है उसे भारत सरकार के साथ एक बॉन्ड साइन करना पड़ता है कि वो अपने व्यक्तिगत विचार उस फिल्म को लेकर कभी व्यक्त नहीं करेगा, चाहे कुछ भी हो जाए. वो अपनी ओपिनियन नहीं बता सकता है. लेकिन इन्होंने भारत सरकार के मंच पे खड़े होकर मंत्रियों के सामने ये बात बोली. ये एक बड़ा पीड़ा का विषय है कि उसका मिसयूज किया गया. एक क्रिएटिव मंच का अपने पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा को फॉरवर्ड करने के लिए इसका इस्तेमाल किया गया. ये एक बड़े दुख की बात है. दूसरी एक दुख की बात यह है कि कैसा देश हो गया है हमारा। क्या फर्क पड़ता है इससे कि जो मरने वाले लोग थे वो किस जाति या किस धर्म के थे। कौन से सेकुलरिज्म की हम लोग 70 साल से डंका पीटते आए हैं। जो मरने वाले थे वो भारतीय थे, वो कश्मीर में थे, हिंदू थे, ये अलग बात है। आज 30 साल से वो अपने घर पे नहीं रह सकते हैं। 30 साल से सारी दुनिया में बिखरे हुए लोग हैं। उनके दर्द और पीड़ा की बात करने को ये आदमी आके इजराइल से बोलता है ये वल्गर है। वल्गर शब्द यानी किस सोच से, और कौन वो व्यक्ति जो सामने बैठ के इसको सुन रहा है। मेरे को इस बात से पीड़ा है कि कौन सा वो भारत मां का लाल है जो बैठ के वहां इस बात को सुन रहा है और उसकी कोई प्रतिक्रिया भी नहीं है इस बात को लेके। क्या वो ये कहना चाहता है, क्या इस बात का समर्थन करना चाहता है? जो भी व्यक्ति है, चाहे वो फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के लोग थे, चाहे सरकार के बाबू लोग थे, चाहे मंत्री लोग थे, चाहे ज्यूरी के वो लोग थे जिन्होंने बाद में अपना स्टेटमेंट दिया। मैं भी उन ज्यूरी के लोगों से पूछना चाहता हूं, उन्होंने बाद में क्यों बोला कि हम समर्थन नहीं करते हैं इस बात का, जबकि वहां बैठे हुए थे मंच के ऊपर। उन्होंने क्यों नहीं खड़े होकर बोला ये आदमी झूठ बोल रहा है? इसलिए क्योंकि हर आदमी फतवे से डरता है, नाविका जी।
Now, it wasn't just Vivek Agnihotri. The cast and crew, the remaining cast and crew of the film have also taken on the Israeli filmmakers' insensitivity. Rather, meanwhile, it's the lead actor Anupam Kher who says that this is a pre-planned and an orchestrated strike with the toolkit lobby. Listen in to this interaction that Mr. Kher had with Times Network's group editor Navika Kumar once again.
एक वल्गर इंसान ही इस तरह की वल्गर स्टेटमेंट दे सकता है एक अच्छी खूबसूरत फिल्म के लिए, जो मानवीय फिल्म है, जो एक त्रासदी की फिल्म है, जो एक ट्रेजेडी की फिल्म है, जो एक्सोडस की फिल्म है, और वो भी उस देश के इंसान से जिसने हॉलोकास्ट जिनकी कंट्री ने देखा है, जो इस तरह के टेररिज्म के विक्टिम रह चुके हैं। तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि ये कितने बड़े फिल्म मेकर हों या कितनी बड़ी जूरी के मेंबर हों या चेयरमैन हो, जो स्टेटमेंट उन्होंने दिया है वो उनको एक बहुत ही तुच्छ और छोटा इंसान दर्शाती है। क्योंकि और उससे बड़ी ट्रेजेडी है कि हमारा ये फिल्म फेस्टिवल जो है बहुत अच्छे पैमाने पर हुआ। मैं वहां पर 2 दिन गया था और इसका अंत ऐसा होगा, ये बड़ी दुखी होने वाली बात है। बिकॉज मुझे लगता है कि उनका एजेंडा ये था कि उनको ये बात बोलनी थी। उनके खास किस्म के कुछ उनके दोस्त होंगे जिन्होंने उनको कहा होगा आप ये बात कहो, और बिकॉज और तो कोई मकसद नहीं था। अगर उनको फिल्म पसंद नहीं आई है, उनका पूरा अधिकार है कि बोले कि मुझे फिल्म पसंद नहीं आई है, मगर टू कॉल इट वल्गर प्रोपेगेंडा फिल्म, that I think he certainly has an agenda rather than anything else, and I think this agenda has worked for him because his toolkit gang are happy. जिस त्रासदी को 32 सालों तक छुपाया गया, जिसके बारे में ये कॉन्ट्रोवर्सी होती रही कि 16 लोग मरे या 400 लोग मरे या 2000 लोग मरे या केवल इतने ही गए, पर 5 लाख लोग 19 जनवरी 1990 को निकाले गए थे। 32 साल बाद उनके जख्मों पर थोड़ा सा मलहम लगने की कोशिश हुई थी और ये बार बार उसको उजागर करते रहते हैं। तो ऑब्वियसली इनको कहीं ना कहीं तो कश्मीर फाइल्स ने चोट पहुंचाई है, इनके मुद्दे को, इनके मकसद को, इनके एजेंडा को। टुडे इटसेल्फ जो काउंसिल जनरल है यहाँ के कोवे सोशानी, वो मुझे आज सुबह उन्होंने फ़ोन किया कि मैं आपसे माफ़ी मांगना चाहता हूँ और आपके स्कूल में आकर माफ़ी मांगना चाहता हूँ। तो नॉट दैट ही हैड टू डू दैट, आई सेड कोई ज़रूरत नहीं, आपने फ़ोन पे बोल दिया। और मुझसे कहते नहीं, आप यू आर द फेस ऑफ द फिल्म एंड यू हैव फैमिलीज हु हैव बीन अफेक्टेड बाय दिस एक्ट ऑफ टेररिज्म। तो ये शर्मिंदा करने वाली थी, एक हिसाब से एम्बैरेस करने की कोशिश थी मंच पर, मगर ये भूल जाते हैं कि इससे देश के कुछ लोग और बहुत सारे लोग और जुड़ते हैं और